All good, bud?
I think so. How do I sound?
You sound good. And a little sick or just early in the morning?
I don't. I want to call it sick. I would call it more like I slept with the AC on and the
Oh, I
fan
got
on.
you. Gotcha.
Yeah, so
I
it's
mean,
like
I
a.
sound like that too.
Yeah,
I got my phone sex voice right now because it's early in the morning.
that's exactly what it is,
Yeah. Oh,
dog.
yeah.
Exactly what it is. I sound so like if I was to really like try to serenade you right now.
Do that Barry White shit? Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
into that. I'm not going to lie. All right.
yeah, Jay.
We should,
Right.
honestly, we should just do the rest of it like this. Right down
Just like
here.
this, real low.
You can get a little bit lower than me, but yeah.
I can get a little bit lower than you, but it's not normally though. This isn't normal. But I still sound amazing. How's the cornfield doing today?
Holy shit! Honestly, you could prank call me with that voice. That's
You wouldn't know.
that is the cornfield is doing good. We're all doing good.
Better olive tree. Perfect. All right. Well, let me boot this shit up real quick because I figured out I figured out what it was. I did I did a skit
You did a skit.
with my kids last night.
Did you film it?
And yeah. So I recorded it and I used my camera that I use for Twitch, and I had to turn the audio recording on.
You did a
And
skit with
so,
your kids. This is cute as fuck, dude. Did you put this
it's
up
something
somewhere, or is it just your family?
no,
thing?
no, I had to. So I went into Final Cut Pro last night, and I realized I don't know what the fuck I'm doing on Final Cut Pro.
Me
So
either. I don't use that program.
Yeah, I was I set them up too. I was like, "Yo, you guys in the morning, we're gonna get breakfast. And we're gonna put it on the big TV, and we're gonna watch it." And I'll cut it up. And I like 3 in the morning last night. I was like, "Yo, I can't do this shit." So my buddy edits videos, so I'm gonna get him to help me out. But it's dope as hell. We wrote the script. Last night, and they all
That's
acted.
cool.
It's hilarious, man.
That's fucking cute, man.
Spy Squad was the name of it.
Spy Squad.
Spy Squad.
Are you sharing this with everybody, or just like passing around with people?
Not just internally with the family. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I figured because you don't usually like share stuff with your kids. So.
No. People are weird, fam.
Yeah, I know. If I had a kid, none of you would ever fucking find it. Are you kidding me?
Nah, people are definitely weird, man.
It's not that I would acknowledge any of my kids.
But I sound. Let me ask my chat real quick if my audio sounded good because they were the ones that alluded. Is it better? Olive tree. Is it better? Am I better? Yeah, let me know.
Sound good on my end. I don't.
Thank you, Jake.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
I can't get it out.
Thank you very much, baby.
I don't know why this reminds me. I had a friend that looked just like a young Marvin Gaye, like literally spot on. He even wore the fucking like the beanie that Marvin used to wear.
That's tough though, bro. That's tough. He's a killer. Dude,
that guy could sing. He had pipes.
Shock, what's going on, baby?
Literally this picture. Oh, you can't see what I'm talking about yet. You know the one where he's smiling in that beanie. Come on.
Right. That makes sense.
Like looking at that, I mean, he might even be high in this picture. I mean, it looks. I don't know. If Marvin smoked weed.
We got to figure out how I can look at what you looking at.
I could do it right now.
How can we do it on Discord?
There you
go. Are you on Discord or?
Yeah.
How'd you do that?
I just press share screen. There's on the if you hover over top and it says like leave call in big red letters. Screen shares is the furthest left option. Is the little TV screen with the arrow on it.
So you'll be able to watch what I'm watching too?
Yeah, I can do that. Did you want to do the second camera thing, or did you want me to just do the squad stream and look at that like last time? Either way is fine.
I don't. I have no idea.
Well, do you have a camera do you have 2 cameras set up?
Nah, I don't have 2 cameras.
All right, that's
fine. I could have, but I didn't.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll feel it out as time goes on. I'll show everybody else what I'm talking about because it's
Sunday service.
Yeah. This is. I mean, like I look at this, I know this is Marvin Gaye, but I still see my friend Ian.
In him?
Yeah. No, not in him. I just literally. It's not like they looked a little bit alike and they shared some features. This is just the dude. He's a fucking clone. He could not sing as well, but like. He was always.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah.
Marvin Gaye had one of the most angelic voices of all time.
Dude, it's ridiculous. If you guys don't know about Marvin Gaye, I mean, get on that shit, okay? Like, I don't listen to it all the time, but like, Very, very good. And yeah, he used to wear
And
a
his
beanie like
and
this
his
constantly.
the people that own his
It's just nuts. Marvin's a little
his
thicker.
most definitely, but the people that own his what is it called,
Property
catalog,
rights? Oh, I see.
yeah, his catalog are fucking nuts, man.
Oh, I don't know who.
Yeah, they're nuts.
I mean, Let's Get It On is an all-timer, man. There's no way you guys don't get to fuck to that.
Nah, yeah, they nuts, man. Like they
Super
they like
protective
they
about
don't
that
like
shit.
anything. Yeah, they're super protective. I mean, as
Did
they
you try to get
should, but it's
something
just
for a
like
track or something?
no, I didn't. I
Oh,
just know it's kind of like known. Like
oh, okay.
no, yeah, they kind of wild with it. Definitely kind of wild with it.
Anyway.
But anywho, man. So you want a squad stream or how you want to?
Yeah, we can do that. That'll be easy enough, and I'll pop the link in there for you guys that want to.
Creator dashboard.
Creator dashboard. There you go. I sent you an invite. It should work. There you go.
Accept. I accept.
And then I think I just pressed start. I think we're good. There we go. And if you guys want to see this, go on over there. And what you can do is you can swap back and forth between us. I'm just gonna stick on his stream, like last time.
Also, I was gonna stick on your stream.
Well, yeah, no, you can do that to me, and I can do this to you, and then they can. You know what I'm saying?
And fucking voila.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, you'll see both of us in a sec. Yeah. My shit's actually a little slow, but it'll catch up. There we go. And then I'll have to mute your shit.
Nice, man. You got the little swoop going on.
Oh yeah. Hey. Yeah.
A little swoop going on. I got it. The little Richard Spencer swoop going on.
Not quite Richard Spencer though. Did you hear that tape? I'm not gonna play that shit, but yeah, you heard that, right?
Yeah, I heard it. It was hilarious.
My goodness.
I mean, it's not hilarious. It's wild.
I mean, it's hilarious in that he's like, I'm the nice racist. You know what I mean? Like his whole brand was like, let me do. Are you guys losing frames actually? Now that I look at this, that tape is fucking wild. 100%, it's wild.
No question.
Yeah, so crazy. Yeah, he went. I mean, he went full mask off, obviously. No, like the thing is, obviously, like everybody knows Richard Spencer's racist as fuck, but like he was always like, but I'm very politely racist. Like, I don't want anyone to be hurt. I don't,
No,
I just.
The interesting thing, man. The interesting thing is like these new racists. They have to like, in order to like for people to like really see that they're racist. Like dog whistling doesn't do it. Like your association doesn't do it.
Oh, yeah.
Like you have to be like on tape. Like people are still denying that Reagan was racist.
Yeah.
Like, and we've been saying it since I was born. My people have been saying that dude's racist.
I mean, dude,
like,
just like actions are pretty good to like indicators.
been good indicative telling. Yeah, I feel you, man.
I don't know, man. And hearing that, like he's literally saying, like, I'm the one that stands over these people and rules them. And like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, chill the fuck out, my guy.
People like me own people like them. Like it was wild. So people that don't know what we're talking about, it's Richard Spencer, who's like a known. What is he known for though? Other
being
than being
racist? No, literally being a Nazi. He's known for being he kind of coined the term alt-right because he doesn't, he's all about branding, which is fucking. Imagine like your brand being like, I'm the cool Nazis, kids. Which on my channel we know a few of those people. Not personally, but we watch some of their shit sometimes and
yes, Dave.
Talk shit. And yeah, I mean, literally, he got famous for getting punched while he was. The best part about that, you guys remember when Richard Spencer got punched, right? And there was like that Holla Back Girl remix of the fucking punch, which was hilarious. There was the
Nazi punch heard around the world.
Oh man, oh yeah, and there was that whole I'm going to put this in heavy air quotes, discourse about should we punch Nazis, right? Like,
I remember that too.
oh yeah.
I remember
Everybody
that.
remembers. Everybody remembers him getting punched in the face. He's explaining that pin he's wearing.
What is the pin?
The Pepe Frog shit.
Okay, so I'm not up on that.
Okay,
God.
Pepe, yeah, he did. That's, you know what? And that guy, I think, did get, it is illegal to punch people, even if they're racist. Just understand that you might face some jail time, but guess what? I am not morally against this. I am pragmatically, necessarily, probably against this scenario, but like political violence at times, obviously, and this is not to say go out and attack Nazis. I'm saying like there are places where it's absolutely justified to hit whoever is oppressing you. Like, come on.
Right. It was. I remember it being a thing. So this is when like I started like, because you know how you go down the
rabbit hole.
Yeah, the rabbit hole, right? And so I was like extremely into secular thought, right? So I was
in
2015
so I was like, that got a little yikesy.
Yeah, it was 100%. It was like I was like really into like.
I mean, I'm there too.
Like Sam Harris, I was in the Matt Dillahunty. I was in like, so it's like kind of like you're kind of navigating your way through like your secular journey. And Richard
Sam
Dawkins
Harris is a little bit of an asshole. Matt Dillahunty is pretty good still.
No, I love him.
Yeah,
but I still haven't I've yet to meet him yet.
I'll hook you guys up.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
No, so I was going through that whole journey, and when I remember the moment I was watching the Stephen Molyneux.
Boy.
Yeah, I was watching.
Boy, that's a big one.
And he was still, he was like, I didn't follow him or anything like that, but he was putting out like atheist videos and stuff like that. And I remember the moment I was like, that's fucking racist. Hold on, like
this guy's being a racist.
Yeah, I was like, how do we get here, dog? And so I started. It kind of like woke up from like this whirlwind of secular content creators. And
oh yeah, dude, a lot of them went fucking south because a lot of them bought into the. There's a whole story behind this shit, but I was accidentally orbiting a lot of these people like Sargon of Akkad and shit. Like, and I didn't even know it because one of the things when it started, like Gamergate bullshit, which is not a thing I went into. It was a bunch of shit that ended up turning into anti-feminism, then ended up turning into like
Armored Skeptic.
Yeah, me and Greg.
That's the one.
Me and Greg don't get along.
Y'all got beat. Y'all got.
I get along with his girlfriend. Well, that sounds fucked up.
That's pretty bad, actually.
That does sound fucked up. No, we're friendly. We're not,
Me and his girl ain't got no problem.
No, but not with that. Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
draw whatever lines you want to draw.
Yeah, me and Greg don't get along very well. You know why though? He asked me he didn't ask me. He asked out loud on Twitter like why people were upset about the Brett Kavanaugh thing. He's Canadian, for the record. He was like, "What? It's a Supreme Court justice. The sky isn't falling, and like I just don't understand why people are freaking out." Okay, first of all, that dude is like a sexual assault person, probably. At best, you could say it's questionable, right? And if it's questionable, maybe pick a different person for Supreme Court. We got lots of people in this country. Pick a different person. They shoved their guy through because they wanted to win their team sport, not because he was the best for their office, right? Like you could have easily picked, some sort of milquetoast Republican Supreme Court guy and still got your stacked court. That's fine. Like it's just morally speaking. But I told Greg, I was like, okay, so here's how the Supreme Court works. And I literally just explained the Supreme Court. I wasn't being an asshole, which I can do. I was like, no, it's a lifetime appointment. Reproductive rights are on the line for a lot of people. Like, and I know you and I don't have uteruses, but those that do are pretty affected by this shit. So, and gay, and, the LGBT community in general with having, Brett Kavanaugh there. And it's really not a good look just optically for like sexual assault survivors, even if he's innocent. It's stained, right? So I don't think we should do that. And he blocked me on Twitter for a little bit.
That's
I don't get it.
yeah, I do understand blocking. I
I
put that back.
understand blocking, but I wasn't like being an asshole. You know what I mean? And we have
Right,
rapport.
right,
Like
right.
we go back for a while. But anyway,
Yeah.
he's more of that centrist type, not really a right leaning guy.
I
Like
haven't.
like I don't think Armor Skeptic ever said anything racist that I can think of. But
Yeah, no, he didn't say anything racist, but it's the whole the anti SJW movement and
mm-hmm.
like where they start you because my sister does a lot of social work, right? She does a lot of
Yeah, is
work in the city. She's a teacher and she's an activist, right?
that the one I
In
follow?
Atlanta.
You have like
Yeah, I only got
you have like
I got two sisters. But I don't know
two
which one you
sisters
follow.
and one brother, right?
Two brothers.
So yeah, I only follow like half your family. There we go. We did it.
Fucking get it together, bro.
I wasn't like hunting them down. They just were fun, interesting people. I don't know. Showed up in my feed because of you. You know, blame you.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. No, no, she's an activist and stuff, and it was around that time actually, and where the term SJW kind of started
Yes.
like becoming a slight almost.
Yeah. By the way, I
And-
think it's important. It's social justice
yeah,
warrior, right?
exactly,
Like,
exactly.
yeah.
And that was my whole point was like they were like they're these SJWs, and I'm like, why is fighting for social justice or people who are like any at all marginalized? Why is that
Like a
a
pejorative.
pejorative?
Yeah.
Like how did that happen? And so I asked her, I was like, do you does it bother you about the whole SJW term? And she was really unaware because she's not like super on the internet like that. She's like,
Yeah.
oh, what is it SJW? Like, what does that mean? She's like, they call you social justice warrior. She's like, oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I fight for social justice, and I was like. I gotta stay off the internet then, because
Yeah.
like you know she does it for a living. That's what she does. She fights for people's rights, and
That's
she was
dope.
proud of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was proud
she
of it,
should
and I was
be.
like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like so, like yeah, Armor Skeptic was one of those cats who was like these SJWs, and it was just like you started banging that Black Lives Matter drum, and it's like it just
Mm-hmm.
couldn't follow. But he did a hilarious takedown of what was this dude who was
The Earth is flat, I
this
guess.
Chris. No, it's a Christian dude who like went into Starbucks and ordered a cup.
Oh, fucking Josh Fierstein.
There you go.
The dude with the hat. He looked like was it Fred? Just Christian Fred Durst from back in the day.
He ordered a cup of I don't know Starbucks, and he was like, because there was a war on Christmas.
Yeah,
and
it was the red cups that didn't say Merry Christmas. Yeah, his boycott was purchasing an item from the place he was boycotting. Fucking 550 IQ move.
It's so weird.
It's 40
dog.
chest shit, dude.
That whole war on Christmas thing is hilarious to me.
Every year, it's happening again.
Every year.
Here it comes. Are you ready for the war on Christmas? Like someone said, do you follow Dark Matter? Dark Matter 2525. He does some animation stuff
on his YouTube.
Yeah. Great guy, still very lefty, and friend of the show. Been on there once or twice. I think we did Sodom and Gomorrah as voice actors, and he said the other day something great, and I thought it was fucking hilarious. It like nailed it. He said, you know, if it offends you that people are saying Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas to you, maybe you should add Happy or Merry Christmas to your bio so people know to say it to you, like kind of like the pronoun argument. Like, so fucking funny, right? That's so good. Like, because personally for me, I have he/him in my bio because it seems to take, and it works a lot. It seems to take the heat off of actual trans people, and it normalizes the practice, which I think is kind of a cool thing. And so yeah, I thought that was fucking funny, man.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing.
The pronoun thing?
Yeah, like to put it in. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, because obviously it can be hey, thanks for following, guys. It can be a little dysphoric for trans and non-binary people or whatever to get the wrong pronouns and stuff constantly.
Right.
So you just put it up there in your shit, and people can just get it right and deal with it constantly. And yeah, I like to do it. I mean, a lot of people know me anyway that are in my space, so it's not like they haven't heard of me or whatever. But I still think it's important for people that, I do encounter, obviously, a lot of people that don't know me. There's a big place. And I get called. I've literally been called transphobic slurs because they thought that because I had that shit in my bio, I was trans. I'm like, dude, I'm just a straight white guy.
Ally.
Like, yeah, I'm just here hanging out, and I'm not trans. I'm sorry. So it's like, yeah, but
And
the Happy Holiday shit. Imagine being offended about that.
I don't really get offended by anything, to be honest. It's just.
I think personal interact, like people I like care about, could offend me, but nothing randos can.
I don't even then, man.
No,
I don't know, man. Let me. What is the offended?
I guess
mean?
hurt my feelings. I guess is more what I mean.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
You don't think? Oh, come on.
Resentful, annoyed. Okay. Particular receipt.
I feel like you could get to.
Okay.
I feel like you get to that point. Yeah.
No, because I think it's because I have this emotional work to do.
Fair enough. That's fair.
I don't think I'm emotionally invested in anybody's opinion, and that sounds like super like tough, but it's just the honest truth. And granted, I think that is a lot of my flaws. Like a lot of my flaws is like I don't empathize with the people that I love with enough, like I should.
Yeah, I work on that too.
Yeah, but like if for years I was just like really cold. Like I've gotten way better, but for years I was like especially when I was in the NFL, I was cold. Like I just didn't care.
Yeah.
And so like it was hard for me to care.
Yeah. In my experience with you, you tend to be pretty. I don't know about. I mean, it's not like we like hug and shit, but like I don't know, you're pretty understanding about shit, and you're usually very supportive of people in your group, and you know,
that is the case.
Yeah,
that is the case.
So
I just miss like if somebody was to try to hurt me,
yeah.
I don't think that's gonna work because it's just I don't think I care enough about how do you feel about me.
That I agree with. That like I guess usually the stuff that hurts my feelings is like stuff you do to people around me and not necessarily me. Maybe do you think that lies in self-value? Do you think like
I think so.
Do we not value ourselves enough in that scenario?
No, I think it's
a man thing. Like,
no, I think it's the opposite, and I could be wrong, but I think it's the opposite. I think it's that I value myself so much that you couldn't do anything to chip off the armor, right? And it could be a form of self-defense, but
yeah.
I mean, like imagine I always tell people like this, like if you tall as shit, if you 7 foot and like every single day somebody keeps telling you you're short, like you can either like let it bother you or realize everybody else is fucking stupid. Like, you know what I mean? And so that's I think over time I've kind of built up that because when you're constantly criticized for shit that you do, good or bad, it's just like you realize after a while, like, yo, you don't really know, and you're just projecting whatever it is your insecurities are onto me. So
on Foster's Wikipedia,
that's kind of how I view criticism in general.
Joe Rogan's podcast and PKA's
is that
podcast.
the majority of people that criticize it's either a projection of how they feel about themselves or the world, or they just ignorant about the facts, and so I don't take it personally. I don't take criticism personally at all.
Yeah.
Shorty hooked up a nice little meal, man.
Hey, nice.
I don't know if you see.
What do you got? I don't know what you have. It looks. Is it
so?
Like,
it's
out of focus. Is why I can't understand what's going on here. There we go. Oh, okay. It's like eggs and beans and shit.
Eggs, beans, cilantro.
Yeah, I'm with that.
It's a veggie medley.
I'm with that. I think part of this, apparently Sundays are therapy sessions for the two of us. So, I think
welcome to Sunday service, man.
There we go. I think maybe part of that for me lies. I guess it tracks through my life if I think about it. My dad was always a hypercritical guy that like, I don't know. There's this idea that like, and sometimes this manifests in like people wanting to try to like, you know, they have daddy issues and they're like, I want to appease this person. For me, it was like, well, fuck you then. I'm good at whatever I do. So, then kind of getting a job on the internet on accident and being inundated with constant criticism all the time. I got very comfortable living in that space of just like, here's a criticism. Oh, well, you're wrong, and here's why. And I'm very comfortable doing that. And like, obviously, recently, I've been dealing with that shit, and some people in my chat do too. So I just meet that shit head on. I don't avoid it. I literally will like, okay, here's your disagreement. Let's fucking go. Happy to hash this out because it's not like a lot of the things that I get accused of in general when someone has a disagreement with me is usually bad face shit. Like, you're a meanie face, okay? Okay, why was I mean? I'm happy to like apologize to you if I offend you for whatever specific thing it is, right? But then you go on to make like other shit that, and this isn't even about this latest bullshit. Like, for years it's always you know, different claims of different shit, and it's like, well, okay, here's why you're factually wrong. Your feelings are valid if I hurt your feelings or offend you on a thing, but here's why you're wrong about like the mechanisms that cause that.
Well, see, two things. I don't think there's a select few of kind of people that can understand that my feeling of this situation can be completely valid, but I can still be wrong, right? So for people that can compartmentalize those two things, that's a rare thing. But I think that it's almost like a gift and a curse because I have the exact same thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's the reason why I banter with people like on Twitter like you do, right?
Yeah,
it's because
I think it's the same shit.
I'm steady trying to save the world one tweet at a time, and it's like I want this place to be a rational society and a society that comes to its conclusions based on like rationality.
Yeah, I think that's what my shit is too. It's almost like a crusade I don't intend to
go on
every single time. Like, no, you're factually incorrect. Like, we live in an alternate reality from one another, and we should live in the same one. So let's hash it, because I could be wrong about my reality, but like I'm pretty sure I'm correct about it. So let's talk about it. Sometimes I'm wrong about stuff, absolutely, and that's fine. But like,
you know what it is? Is like I care whether I'm right or wrong.
Me too.
And I don't think people do. And so like you said, you go on these crusades where you're like trying to like walk people to your point, and it's like it's I think it might be a little bit arrogant, honestly, but there
might be some arrogance to it, but I think it lives in the right place, right?
Let's put it there because I feel like when it lives there. It makes me feel good when it lives there.
Well, but I think it does, right? Because it's not because like like you said, people not a lot of people care about being right or wrong. I think that's half true. I think people care a lot about being right. I don't think people care to learn they're wrong. Not a lot of people. I don't think they're comfortable with it. Which makes a lot of sense. Like being wrong can be scary, right? Like, I mean, even like little shit, like, today's Wednesday and I thought it was Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no. See, I think here's where a lot of people, and it goes back to like a theology, right? Theological belief, where it's like, I believe. You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I believe sincerely that there is I don't want to frame it like that because I could just hear the theist cringe when I say that. The way I view the world is that I see that there is an objective truth that we can chip away at, right?
Yeah.
But some people's objective truth is their foundation is flimsy, right? It's not it's very subjective. They're like, so when I try to walk people through, I mean, you had these conversations with people plenty of times, but when I try to walk people through about how believing in a supreme being is fine, but you then have to concede that every single supreme being that somebody believes in is just as valid as yours.
Yeah.
Logically, like they can't see that because how they view the world isn't through a lens of rationality like they think it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's very feelsy.
And so, but when that's the case, it's almost like so when I started like really getting into this like this era of politics, it was interesting to me because bringing my sister back into play, right? So she's an activist and she's a historian, right? She has I don't say she has, but like the definition of racism has actually evolved, right?
Sure.
And so now if you ask somebody progressively black about the word racism, they say it's not just superiority complex. It's actually you have to be in a position of power, right? So like they've actually kind of redefined it. I don't say they redefined the term. They said it's evolved. And so what's happening is people are using the same words, but they don't mean the same things to the opposition anymore. And so we're literally speaking a different language by saying the same words. And that shit is crazy to me, how that has transpired. Yeah.
SJW is a good example of that.
Yeah. And so when you're operating from that standpoint, it's hard to. It takes like an emotionally intelligent human being to understand that we're saying the same things but speaking two different languages, because then you would have to you have to steel man the other side, and that takes a lot of humility. And the majority of people that get in these arguments don't really have that; they just pretend to.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I talk to people and we're talking past each other for a long time. That's why I like to. I know a lot of people. When I offer to speak to them on a stream, it can be both intimidating and seem like, just debate me, bro, like thing. But honestly, it's because I'm really good at communicating in this way. And again, this sounds a little bit arrogant, but I run into it constantly, so I find it to be a problem. When we type to one another, I can't trust that you're going to get my intonation correctly. I can't trust that you're going to get the syntax correct and the way you read it. I can't trust that you are actually as literate as I assume you are. And that's not to say like, oh, you're dumb. I mean, like, we do have literacy problems all around the world. So, I mean, like, we could lose communication. And I think you don't have to spell like, you don't have to be able to spell like, the word confusion to be able to say it, right? And so, like, I think it's just more productive to talk. And I think also people, when they start to hear another person's voice, it humanizes one another, and we can be a little bit more compassionate. Like, I might flame you a little bit less, you might flame me a little bit less, and we can have a discussion. This doesn't happen all the time, but I feel like it's more productive no matter what. Even if we find out we fucking hate each other's guts, it's quicker than typing at each other for 2 days or whatever, which is not something I typically would engage in anymore with a random person, but with people I know, absolutely. Yeah, I think discourse is really, really important, and I don't think people are comfortable at all with what it takes, because sometimes it does take like uncomfortable questions and like having to rationalize your thought process, and I don't think a lot of people do rationalize their thought process. Like, people might even consider like you or I to live in like a tiny bubble, especially me, because I kind of live in a leftist space publicly. And they might be like, oh, you only listen to one side. I talk to people on the other side almost exclusively on this platform. Right. And like, I have had to check my own beliefs routinely for all the time, like a decade, right? And so I'm super comfortable with sort of chipping away at my thoughts, right? Like, for instance, like, I would self-censor a lot of words that I didn't used to censor. Like, I don't say a lot of shit, even if and I usually never pointed them at anybody, but there's lots of like, just lots of names you can call people that I don't use because it's not productive, and it actually harms people. Like when we were growing up in like the 90s and shit, like just using the word gay at somebody, like, it didn't mean anything like hurtful.
Yeah, it was normal.
But it was super normal, like, oh, that's gay, right? Even the gay kids said that, right? And now it's like, I'm not going to engage in that shit. It just, like, because it does hurt people from time to time. And my philosophy is, like, we should be working towards harm reduction. Me specifically, it's about humans. Some people extend that to animals as well. as far as like veganism is concerned, which is super interesting. I'd love, you know what? We should get Fantano on here sometime and talk to him about that. Because I think that'd be a really good discussion.
About
veganism in general.
So that's interesting because right now I eat meat and I eat animal products. I don't drink milk. That shit is gross. I don't understand that.
Dude, that hurts my stomach.
It's just gross. I've never liked milk.
Yeah,
though.
me either. I don't get it.
I've never had a full glass of milk.
I might have had like 2 in my life. Like usually it's like if I have a glass of milk, there's like Oreos nearby. That's the only time I can imagine pouring milk.
So I'll put it in
cereal, maybe.
Yeah, I put it in cereal, and I'll drink. I used to drink the milk that was like if it tasted like the cereal.
Oh sure, right? Yeah. Or
but
or
it would have to be
or
sitting
something
there for a while.
But yeah, people like my brother drinks like literal gallons of milk. It's so strange.
It's disgusting. I would throw up.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that is one thing. So like when I evaluate belief system and I evaluate the things that I subscribe to.
Yeah.
That is one thing that I think, okay, and in 200 years, when they look back at our culture,
assuming we survive.
Yeah. So because like when I look at when I look back at like the 1800s, I'm like, there's no way I would think it's okay to own humans. Like, there's no way I would think that.
Sure, that makes sense. So
even I'm talking about even if I was white or whatever the case may be, right? I don't see me doing that. Even though I was in that society, I would be an outlier. This society today, I think that in 200 years, that would be that to us.
Veganism.
Yes, it's gonna be like, how could you?
I think factory farming definitely
for food.
Maybe not animal products like eggs if they're free range and shit. Maybe
I don't know,
not,
man.
But definitely like a lot of our practices. But I don't know. Eggs.
I can't intellectually defend.
I can defend free range eggs. I grew up on a farm or near a farm, and my grandfather farmed though, so I can't intellectually defend factory farming at all. Or yeah,
okay.
The vegans are right. Let's just say that vegans are right.
Yeah. Okay, so fuck factory farming. How about eating meat at all? Can you intellectually defend that?
I have a different relationship with it because I grew up hunting and shit. I don't really like hunting itself. It's not because the animals die. I just don't like it's boring to me. Like, so for me and people that grew up in the Midwest and shit,
right.
with this culture, it was always like a respectful, like respect towards the animal was always pushed. Like, we're not wasting as much as we can. Like, even the stuff we don't eat, we're putting out in nature so other stuff can like feed on it and fertilize. And we'll use the skin. We're gonna make sure to make sausage out of the stuff we don't necessarily want to eat.
Gotcha.
The antlers stay, and that's why they put them up. We use as much of the meat as we want, and like in venison's fucking good. Have you ever had that? Have you ever had that opportunity? Venison's kind of
venison. Yeah, I've had pretty much every meat.
Yeah, okay. And elk and stuff like that.
Oh.
They're not sold in restaurants a lot because there's a lot of loopholes, but yeah, you can get a hold of it. It's good shit. But so it was always like a respect thing. But I think as a society we are, like, I know on an intellectual level, not a feelings level, and I think I would have to, again, I think this is an empathy thing where I'd have to like give a shit about animals at a higher level, and like I do with like dogs and cats and shit and non-food animals in our culture, because obviously like they eat them in other cultures, but and that grosses me out, but only because of it's cultural bias, right? And I understand that on an intellectual level, but I can't emotionally get to the point where I like it bothers me, and it doesn't seem like any arguments bother me yet. And other than I know in like logically and ethically, from an objective standpoint, you are almost certainly correct. I can't think of an argument that makes sense against it. It just isn't compelling enough for me. And so
that mean to be fair, that could be exactly what a slave owner or the 1600s.
Actually, absolutely, 100%. I totally agree. And
like,
that's a good fucking argument,
right,
and it just doesn't like.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, no, exactly. 100%. You aren't even a little bit wrong. That said, I do practice occasional veganism and vegetarianism. But I had a steak last night. You know what I mean?
I have a black friend.
Yeah. I have a black friend, right?
Sound like an animal racist
Exactly.
right now, bro.
Literally, exactly. They're not that different, right?
No, they're not.
They're not
And so
that different. But I mean,
that's my
obviously,
thing.
culturally, they're different. But the arguments
Yeah,
themselves
yeah,
aren't that
yeah,
different.
yeah. I can't intellectually defend it. And I'm talking
Yeah.
about I had
You just ate eggs like 1 second ago.
I just ate egg. Yeah. So
Literally 1 second.
I'm all I'm saying is I can't intellectually defend it.
Me
And
either.
so with that being said, I think I know I'm wrong. Like
Yeah.
that's what made me become an atheist in the first place, was that it was probably like early 20s where I was like, yo, I can't defend this in an argument without, when the words leave my mouth, I'm like, yo, that's bullshit, right?
Yeah.
I can't do that anymore with eating animal products without saying, yo, I know this is wrong. Like, to see and like, I was vegan, but like I'm not anymore. But like, to see, so I'm not one of those like save the animal type. Like,
You
yeah,
got a lot of bullshit for that.
I got 100%. I took all the bullets. I got a dog that that's not, it's my lady's, and like she takes care of him stuff, but he's here. And I got a roommate that, no, that's what I was about to say. So like, I got 2 dogs in my house, and I don't like them. I don't like dogs. I grew up not like, I can't stand dogs, and the reason why I don't like dogs is because I grew up in an area where there weren't nice dogs, right? I grew up in an area where like there was a whole bunch of stray dogs and just running around. I used to run from them, and I used to kick them, and like, you know what I'm saying. So it was like a survival type thing. So I was like, yo, fuck dogs growing up. But so I don't, like, to this day I don't really like them, like, for me. And so it's not like I mean, they just don't. And it's not like I want to kill all dogs. It's just like, I would rather not be around dogs. And so animals in general, like, I'm not like this, like, oh, I love the, like, fuck them. I don't really care about them like that. But I just honestly don't. Like, if like I remember my girl dog sick, because we had to go out of town.
Yeah.
And he called me like, yo, man, his name's Yoko. He's like, Yoko ran away. He ran away. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. I was like, all right, well,
you were blowing him off.
Yeah. And she was like, what did he say? She's like, he said Yoko ran away. She's like, what? She started crying. And I'm like, what the fuck are you crying for? Like, it's a dog. And she's just like, I can't believe you're just so insensitive. And I was like, hey, bro, niggas run away. It happens, bro. So so I just didn't care. Like, so I just say that. I just say that to say, like, I don't really care about animals like that. So I'm not like this, like, save the animals type of vegan.
Sure.
But when I see animals interacting with each other and how they care for their young, and it's hard for me to dismiss the fact that, cows care, pigs care, chickens care, right? And so like chickens, if they have this level of, who knows, man. Well, I mean, it's all projection, right? So like, but they have a level of empathy enough.
Pigs definitely do. Pigs are pretty intelligent.
100%. And so because go ahead. Because they do, it's however we value, we definitely don't value them like we value other people. And so I can't defend the reasons to why. I haven't heard a good argument for it yet.
Yeah, I think once we get to lab grown shit, I think that's probably like when we take a turn, right? Because you're gonna have to convert a culture of people.
It's not gonna happen here. Yeah, it's not gonna happen here.
Until you can, I think. Or they're forced to.
That's the reason actually why I started eating meat again. It was because, like, if you think about every single thing that we celebrate in this country, it is somehow, some way tied to an animal product being consumed.
Yeah, for sure.
Birthday, 4th of July, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween. It doesn't matter. Every single thing has something to do with consuming an animal. And it's just like, I got tired of like compensating. I was like, I'm sick of this.
And to be fair, in a capitalist system, the odds of us ethically consuming anything is pretty low. I think humans are flawed. To be fair, ethics are something we put out there anyway. So, I mean, like, it's not like there's a cosmic ethic. But I do think that since we understand that we could do things more ethically based on how we view it, we probably ought to. But was that
ought cosmic ethic?
Yeah, it doesn't exist. I think for sentient life, there's probably a through line of like harm reduction in general throughout the universe, but like what's that even look like to some other thing
All right,
that I can't imagine?
so
You know what I mean?
so philosophically,
Yeah.
do you view a lion killing a hyena like you do
Of course
a
not.
man murdering a man?
Obviously not.
So why is it? What's the differentiation?
Cognitive levels, right? So like we have senses of self, and we don't have any. We're sapient, and we don't. I don't think we have. Besides maybe dolphins, who we think might be semi-sapient, elephants, stuff like that, and some like great apes, like I think chimpanzees. If they don't have a sense of self, they don't have a sense of I'm about to not exist, or stuff like that, which takes down their. I guess they don't like from an emotional level. You know what I mean?
So I mean that fear of death, right?
They have
is
fear
in
of
a sense,
harm, not necessarily fear of non-existence.
Why do they fight so hard to stay alive then? There isn't an animal that doesn't fight to stay alive.
Evolutionarily speaking, you're predisposed to continue on so you can propagate. But it's not it's not an internal monologue of like, this is my existence. It's more of just like instinct. Like we have fight or flight too. Like it's not like we see something in a bush and we flinch and we look at it and we're like, are we gonna run or we're gonna punch it in the fucking face? That's basically the level we're living on, is that lizard brain sort of like shit. But as far as like the internal monologue of like what are my hopes and dreams? Like what do I wanna, like, who am I? Like, what do I believe in? What's life after death? What even is death?
Right.
Where's my place in the universe? Well, where am I? What is this? Like, that shit doesn't happen on a higher functioning level to some animals. That's the only disconnect. Other than that, there's literally no reason to cause them harm. There's none. Unless, you obviously in the past we needed shit to survive. I mean, there wasn't vegan, there was, but like not in a way that was like readily knowable. Nutrition wasn't a thing for a long time, and like just in the last like fucking 100 years, we've really started to understand how the human body and nutrition are working. And like every year, it gets better.
Where are you with the science of that?
Of nutrition?
Yeah, as far as consuming animal products.
I agree with vegans for the most part. It's every year. Like when we were in high school and shit, I think. There definitely weren't a lot of vegan products for consumers, but it's getting more and more readily available. Like I have vegan cheese in my fridge right now, just because I wanted to try it and see it out.
Shit's horrible.
It's not that good. Well, so it is good at first. It is, but I find it to be a little too intense. Like it's like, hey, I'm fucking cheesy. I'm like, all right, calm down. I don't like cashew air quotes cheese.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Is
cheese, eggs, dairy in general. Those are things that are hard to get away from for me.
Yeah. Cheese is definitely was definitely a deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
I don't think I could just do it right now. It's delicious.
It is delicious, and it's not just delicious. There's like cultural implications to a lot of this too, and it's hard to break out of that shit. I do think being as vegan as one can is probably best. Like having a high plant-based diet, making sure that you have B12, trying to incorporate just more natural things into your life is a good thing.
I'm positive that 10, 15 years from now, I will not be consuming animal products.
I would say I have a high likelihood of following you like in 10, 15 years. I just think the variety needs to like match competition with the meat industry, and
not gonna happen. Never gonna happen.
Well, no, I guess maybe not match, but like get comparable enough to where because again, I have the ethical knowledge that vegans are probably 100% correct. You just got to give me enough space to live in there that I will like 100% convert, right? You know what I mean? Like there just has to be a little bit of this.
Sound like a racist, 100%.
100%. It's totally right. Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Black people deserve rights, but I'm just not there.
Yeah. Luckily, in this case, you're racist with me for another 10 to 15 years.
No question.
Yeah, and
no
so
question. In 15 years, I will no longer be.
10, just give me 10, 15 years, okay? I still got like. I don't know. Crops are growing and it's really good right now, but like I just gotta save up some money. And
I saw this tweet, dog, that it was under some like I don't know, some stupid tweet some conservative put, and some dude said it was talking about like black people or something. Dude said, he said, "Oh my God, I swear, man, I'm not racist, but I'm this close."
What?
Like,
Then you're racist, dude.
No question. And one of my guys like said, "I'm this close to racism."
What does that even fucking mean?
That means you're racist, dog.
You're fucking racist. What?
15 years, I won't be racist no more. All right,
No.
but I'm gonna sulk in my racism until then.
How do you feel about? Okay, so this is like we're mostly talking about like mammals and birds and shit. From an ethical standpoint, fish we definitely know have a lower cognitive thing. Are we feeling vegan with fish, or also cut the fish out? I think
I don't really like fish. Well, I think that there's tuna. Tuna's like the only fish that I like. Everything else,
or the canned shit. Like sushi.
No, not can. No, not can. It's sushi. Yeah, that kind.
Oh man,
like raw tuna.
Oh man, I was on a boat once and they fucking caught a bluefin tuna and it died and they cut right into it and gave it to me on some soy sauce and it was the best thing I've ever had.
I bet it was, dog.
Dude,
I bet it was.
Come on.
No, it's insane. It's insanely delicious and absolutely love it. But the
vegan with fish is called segan. I can get on that shit.
It's not vegan.
It's not vegan at all. It's not vegan.
Who says that?
I don't know. I don't know if that was a joke, but it's funny.
Hold on. What did you ask?
I guess just like because mostly we're talking from a mammal and bird centric viewpoint on like the ethics of how they work. Like we know for a fact that like fish work on a much lower cognitive level in general. Like fish specifically, not like sea mammals.
Gotcha.
And obviously, ethically, I don't think it's that different. But I'm just wondering.
Oh no, absolutely not.
I think I put them at the bottom of the animals that like can understand and feel the torture that we put them through.
Right. But even if they couldn't, right? Even if they couldn't, I liken it to like, okay, if you're,
well, if you get to even if they couldn't, then we're talking about like we can't eat yeast.
Yeast. I don't even know what yeast is.
Yeast is like what leavens bread and shit like that. Like, or we can't have like, beer or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I don't. Why not?
What? If they?
No, why not? Why not?
Because yeast is like a bacteria, right? And so we eat that shit. But they are living. It's alive, right? And so, I think a big distinction between things that can experience pain and things that can't are important.
So can bacteria experience pain?
No, and that's what I mean. Is that
a stupid fucking question?
I don't think bacteria can experience pain. They don't have nervous systems. At least not in a way that we.
I don't know. I just don't know enough about bacteria. Hold on.
Yeah. And fungus and stuff like that are living, and yeah. Eukaryotic cells, yeah. But even so, I think if we limit it to animals and their products, I think that's.
Well, cool. Here's this just from Google. It says bacteria may not have.
The world around them, yeah.
Bacteria may not have. Oh, did you already read it? Okay.
Yeah. Well,
I was gonna read it for you, Jake, but in my Barry Manilow voice. But
I fucked it up.
I can still do it. Bacteria may not. So that they don't have a central nervous system, as we know.
Yeah.
They'll physically feel the world around them. According. So okay, if bacteria, if they, I mean, how narrowly are we drawing this?
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't think we can't narrow it too much. It just has to be as ethical as is reasonable for our diets to maintain, because human health is also important. I mean, you can make some concessions, especially because like human consumption is off the charts, and we could definitely stand to not do it as much, and not just from a food intake, just all of our forms of consumption. But I don't think the argument, well, even if they couldn't, we shouldn't do it, is necessarily very good, because that's kind of the distinction between why we should or shouldn't do it.
It's interesting.
There are arguments that plants do send signals when they are cut and stuff, which some people say they feel pain, but it's not like in a way that we understand.
Yeah, it's not. I've never even pondered this before.
Oh, there's tons. I mean, you're reading one right now. There's tons of like
Yeah.
talk on the plant pain phenomenon because, again, they can respond to stimuli and the organelles and stuff inside them and like if you ever cut think about this, like if you cut your arm, your white blood cells and platelets and stuff, and you clot up, and it creates a scab, and it heals underneath, and that's it. What happens when you cut like a plant? Kind of the same thing happens, right? It goes to the source of wherever it's losing fluids. It locks it up. It heals over top of it, and it stops, and something else might sprout out of that space. Like when you pair like a rose bush or something.
This is fucking fascinating. I've never known anything.
Right,
That's
and
really...
so like, do they feel pain? It's kind of inconsequential because we gotta, at some point, we have to stop and be like, okay, we do have to eat. But like, they don't feel pain on a way that we can even.
All right, so
if
okay,
they do feel pain, it's certainly not in a way that we understand.
Right. So I'm not. I don't think that we're harming plants by eating them.
I don't think so either, personally. But
I think a part of this universe is the old Mufasa circle of life, right? and I think that
another great voice.
That's
James
one of the greatest
Earl
of all time,
Jones.
actually. Yeah, he has. I think he has the greatest voice. Matter of fact, he got the greatest voice of all time. And then you got Morgan Freeman.
I was gonna say better than Morgan Freeman. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I would tend to
James
agree
Earl
with you.
Jones,
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman, then the rest of the earth.
Seth Andrews. Have you heard Seth Andrews' voice from The Thinking Atheist? I've been on there a few times. He's got a good voice.
That's dope to have a good voice, and that's what.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think he worked on radio like his whole life. It's kind of like people who can just like naturally sing. That's good shit.
Got you. Yeah, I wish I could do that. I cannot do that. I can carry a tone, a note, but I can't sing. Yeah.
I think you got a good voice for music, though. Whether it's singing or rapping or whatever, I think it sounds nice.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. Oh, Liam Neeson, Mary, you're right. Liam Neeson has a good voice. Yeah. He's not in the tier of Morgan Freeman.
He's at least B tier.
But here's a good one. Yeah. Hey, what did you have on the docket from last week?
Well, we were talking about racism right now, so we were going to talk about the Second Amendment and the racism within it, because we had started talking about stuff like that, and also Bernie's discussion with that, which I think is probably the better starting point. This is kind of old news at this point, but I still think I wanted to talk about it with you because I thought it was interesting. Bernie, a while back, like 2 or 3 weeks ago now at this point, got asked a question. If you had a son that was a person of color, and it might have even been specifically like if you had a black son, what would you tell him in regards to how he should deal with police? And it was basically, the answer was treat them with respect and try to listen to their orders, because if you don't,
clip of that?
Yeah, if you look up Bernie Sanders, I don't know, what would I even search?
That's what I was trying to think about what to search, and I couldn't think of anything. So
like Bernie Sanders town hall police, maybe?
Okay, HBU, and it popped up. Goddamn.
Okay, yeah. So I guess we could just watch that together. Okay. I'll turn my. Wait, can you you're screen sharing, but yes. I can't hear what you're doing. So,
you just play it at the same time.
Yeah, can you just send me that link real quick?
I can.
Yeah, we'll watch that same. It's only 48 seconds. That's plenty of time. And then you can just listen to it.
Got you. Send it in Discord right now. Should be in there.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yep.
All right, let's cue it up. And
is it just in this top part here? Oh, okay. Mine's going slower.
And there's an. So I'm gonna let that run.
Yeah, mine's going slower.
I'll pause it when it starts though.
I probably should have restarted my computer before I did this. I didn't even think about it. Poor thing. I was editing and shit.
The hours in the archives hold 30.
What do you use to edit?
I use Power Director Pro. You buy a license for it online. It's pretty easy. Why are you thinking about editing more often? It's so grind. It's the grindiest part of my life.
Well, no, I'm not thinking about editing at all. But I gotta edit this goddamn movie I did.
Oh, I wouldn't buy the license just for that shit.
I bought Final Cut Pro a long time ago.
Oh, if you got Final Cut,
but it's just
plenty. It's just something to learn.
I don't know the program. So like I do. So I have something called Logic, Logic X. That's where I cut all the like music up.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where I produce from. And then I have, which is kind of like GarageBand. It's like an advanced GarageBand. And then I have Pro Tools. I know Pro Tools really well, right? And so some of the commands cross, you can cross pollinate. But last night I was working on Final Cut, and nothing is the same. It's just I have to learn an entirely new program. But it's queued up. You ready, Rob?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. So on the
Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders said when a student asked him,
Go ahead.
If I'm your son, what advice would you give me next time I'm pulled over by an officer?
I would do my best to identify who that police officer is in a polite way, ask him or her for their name. I would respect what they are doing so that you don't get shot in the back of the head.
That was
Okay, we don't have to listen to her commentary. How
Man,
do you feel about that? I feel like that's like, he said
funny.
it. He went out and said it, and I don't feel that's terribly off from what people get told.
What was the entire backlash about that?
Implying that like it's like respecting the police officer, and like some people in my opinion mistook it like for blaming like the person on whatever happened.
Okay, victim blaming.
Yeah, which I don't
I
necessarily agree with. I think it's reasonable to stay safe.
Yeah, I think I kind of see from both sides of the aisle. Like they want him to be more so proactive about police accountability in that situation.
Absolutely. But he's talking about the question specifically was if you had a black son, right?
Yeah.
Not like if you're Bernie Sanders, the politician. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think the issue is one. I don't know. I think it's counterproductive in general to ask a 70-year-old white man what he would do if he had a black son.
I tend to agree.
But I think his answer sounded like a 70-year-old white man answer. Like I don't.
Yeah.
It's not.
It
doesn't bother me.
How would you answer it? Like,
what would I do if I had a black son?
What would you do if you had a black son? Yeah.
And he gets pulled over by the police. Well,
like, what do you tell your kid?
What my father told me. My father told me. He said, it didn't come up too much, but when I started driving, ironically, when I started driving, I tell this story a lot. But when I started driving, my father and I were driving from San Diego to Los Angeles, and we got pulled over by the police. And the police, he walked up, he didn't ask anything. He said, step out of the car. He said, and my father said, he said, what? I said, officer, what did I do? I said, step out of the car. And so I looked at him, and he was like, just do what he says. And so my dad stepped out of the car. He said, you too. And so I stepped out of the car too. And he said, you got to sit down on the curb. And we sat down on the curb. And
that's
then he
fucking
said,
dehumanizing in my opinion.
It's wild as fuck. And so he said, open the trunk. And he opened the trunk. And my dad opened the trunk. He said, my dad, we grew up very politically aware. He knows his rights. He knows he understands what's going on. And he said, officer, did we commit a crime? Like what are we being pulled over for? He said, open the trunk. So he opened the trunk, and he said, what's in the bag? He said, it's just clothes. He's like, this is my son for traveling from San Diego to Los Angeles to visit my dad. Yada yada yada. He said, open the bag. And so he opens the bag. He put the bag on the ground,
mm-hmm.
and he zips it up, and he starts pulling stuff out of the bag. And then he didn't find whatever the fuck he was looking for. And he says, all right, you guys have a nice day, and just got in the car and left. And so I'm sitting there with my father as a fucking 15-year-old kid, with clothes on the ground and stuff like that. And so like we have a conversation on the way on the way there. And granted, I've had run-ins with police before this, so I'm aware. My dad has too. So we've had talks before. Yeah, at this point. So but what he told me was I'm paraphrasing, but it was like something along the lines of like there's a power structure in this country, right? And those with authority like to abuse it. And so your job is to stay alive in that situation, right? And so do whatever you have to do in order to stay alive. That's comply. Sometimes you have to eat crow. Sometimes you have to do things that you don't want to do, that aren't right, that aren't morally right, but you have to stay alive in the end. And that's kind
of what I got from Bernie Sanders without the I guess
the anecdote.
Well, no, without the lived experience.
Yes and no, and I think that's what people want from Bernie Sanders, because
but he's not a black guy, man.
I'm voting for Bernie. I'm voting for Bernie.
Yeah,
right?
I just don't think he
I
can.
think he's the most. But here's what it is. I understand what they're saying, which I don't agree with, but I understand what they're saying. So I'm voting for Bernie for sure. I think I
am too. Yeah,
he's the best.
If I get a chance to.
Candidate, yeah. Wait, was you
in the primary? I'm assuming it's happening. I just
I got you. He's like, yeah, I might flip out. You know.
Well, I'm not just gonna write if he dies. I'm not gonna write him in. You know what I mean? But yeah,
no, for sure. I think he's the best candidate progressively for any progressive or liberal or whatever, however you.
Yeah.
But I've heard a lot of backlash from the black community about Bernie, and it's how he answers the reparation question, and it's how he always kind of his thing is, okay, he acknowledges systematic racism. Mm-hmm. He acknowledges the hardships that people still have in this country and have had in this country. Mm-hmm. But it's never he doesn't answer it to my liking, but it's not enough to make me think that it's not, because I'm more of a totalitarian, right? And so
wait, I don't understand, I guess.
I would rather the whole be better, right? If you want to, if there will never be a president. Yeah, there will never be a president.
Don't use the word totalitarian for that.
Isn't that what that means?
In a political conversation, probably not. It implies like Hitler was a totalitarian, for instance.
Whoa, shit!
Yeah,
hold on.
Yeah. Totalitarianism is like I understood what you meant, more like a universalist.
Yeah. Relating to a system of government that is centralized. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant in context, but yeah, you don't want to use that word.
At all? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why is this in my vocabulary?
Because it makes sense. Because it's not you weren't talking about the political system of totalitarianism.
No, not at all.
Look at if you go to the second one. Hold on, I believe.
Okay.
Go down similar. Well, maybe I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure there's a way, like a universalist or a
That's what I remember learning this word. Is it
egalitarian?
Maybe that's probably
I get kind of you want what's best for the whole, not necessarily.
Yes, that's so maybe an egalitarian.
Yeah. Or marked by egalitarianism. Shut up.
Right.
Merriam-Webster. Human equality, especially with respect to social, political, and economic. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so that's what I am. Egalitarian. So in that sense, so we're never going to get a political candidate that runs on specifically black issues, right? Never going to happen. Not in this country. And so I understand that. And so like I think it's baby steps towards the goals that we all want. And to me, Bernie Sanders is the conduit from what America has been to where America wants to go, for a progressive America, right?
Sure.
And so I'm definitely voting for him. But when, so what he does is he answers the questions systematically, right? Mm-hmm. Which isn't, he's not wrong, right? He's not wrong. But what he says is, we need to fix the system, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's the issue. We need to fix the system. And although he's correct, people who I feel probably are a little more nearsighted feel like he's not addressing the issue. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And that's the quote unquote backlash I hear from Bernie, from the black community. Because I heard it from my mom. She's extreme. She's very brilliant lady. I love my mother. Really deep into politics, and she's progressive as well. But she's not a Bernie fan because of how he answers black questions.
Yeah, I think it's hard for him being a old ass Jewish guy, a white one, and
Yes.
yeah,
but he's been on the front line. That's what I was telling him. I was like,
Yeah.
yo, he's been on the front line. This is why Bernie's so.
yeah,
He's been banging this progressive drum for fucking decades, right? And so he's been labeled crazy for I don't know how long. And if you look at the Democratic debates nowadays,
Mhm.
it's commonplace to talk about the stuff Bernie Sanders has been talking about since way back in the
Oh
day.
yeah, he got arrested.
And
He was what were they called? The something riders. Why am I forgetting? He was part of a group of a bunch of people, not just white, that went down and got arrested.
Freedom Riders.
Freedom Riders. Thank you. They got arrested, for civil rights and shit during the civil rights movement. It's like, and that doesn't necessarily make you a good person, but like it definitely adds to the portfolio of good things you've done. And
Right.
I think he has a really hard time. There's a line to toe as a progressive person and being white, both of which I experience, where it's really hard to want to say that and that question specifically is pretty hard to answer, given that like it puts you in the position of like assuming you've got some knowledge of the lived black experience, which obviously I can't do. I can listen to you, but I don't know it. You know what I mean? And it also, it's really hard to answer that question without speaking for the black community. And
Yeah, it's a setup. And see, I don't like the question.
Yeah, I don't like
it's
the
a dumb
question either.
And so, to answer your question, I'm not. That shit doesn't bother me. It doesn't take me off the Bernie train. I think he's the best candidate.
Yeah.
But I understand what they're saying. But as a whole, the black community is which is I just don't understand. If you're a progressive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why any other candidate is even enticing? I really don't understand it. Like,
Warren's like a good substitute if Bernie isn't the.
But this is what I'm saying. So Warren is like a watered down.
Yeah, I agree.
I just mean like policy wise, right? And she freely admits that a lot of that stuff. Yeah. Obviously, Bernie predated, and that's where she got it from. So it's like, why? I just don't understand the rationale, other than I've heard like he's old, but that doesn't even make sense to me either. Like, why is that a factor? Like, he's not cognitively limited. If you care about a cognitively limited president, then you would be outraged at our president currently.
Yeah.
I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't really get it either. I guess do you stick with the advice your dad gave you, basically, like just stay alive?
For Bernie? For
you, your answer to that question.
Yeah. I concede, right? Unless I'm in a mood, right?
Sure.
Like, there's this one time I got pulled over. It was a couple years ago, and it was this pass where it was a split on a freeway, and there was mad traffic on the right lane, and so nobody would let me in, and that's stupid, by the way. For you people out there, let people in, bro. Like, it's ridiculous.
You ever driven through
like,
Atlanta? That shit happens all the time. Atlanta's
everywhere, dog. And people pretend like they never have had to get in late before. It's like, no, you really willing to risk your car and insurance and everything just so I don't get a car length in front of you? It's fucking grow up. Anyway, so I had to merge in late because there was mad traffic and nobody was letting me in. But it wasn't anything that was like dangerous or anything like that. It's like I merged in like a car 2 lengths before or after the solid line came, right? Yeah. And so, but there was no traffic in the left lane though, and I was like, why is there just traffic in this lane at this time? It didn't make no sense. And then as the traffic centers to a single lane, there's a police officer on a bike, and he's just telling people to pull over, right? Like he steps in front of you and he tells you to pull over, and there's just like 4 or 5 cars on the side. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? So he tells me to pull over, and he and it pissed me off. And so he pulls up to the window and he goes, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" I said, "Yeah, because you stop in traffic. What are you doing?" And he's like, "You made an unsafe lane change." I was like, "Dog, it's because you're stopping traffic. That's why the lane safe. There would be no traffic if you weren't here." And so he's like, "Let me see your license." And so I was just being a dick. And so like I was just being a dick. Because it was an asshole move. Like he didn't have to like he was
Yeah,
out here.
no,
Like,
fuck that
fill a
shit.
quota.
I hate that
But
shit.
for the most part, the majority of the 99.9% of the time, I just do what he says. Cause I got 4 kids, dog. I don't want to risk the fact of me catching somebody on a bad day or whatever the case may be. And so like, another thing they told me, my fault, I forgot to tell you. So another thing they said is keep your hands on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
And
And
keep them in
grab your
plain
shit.
sight. No, don't, right? So like,
Well, no.
If
I thought you meant like I've had
don't
police
get your
officers
shit ready.
be like, put your hand on the steering wheel and give me your license. Like what?
No. So like before he's walking up, I put my hands on the steering wheel. I'm not fumbling around looking for my wallet because in their mind they could see like I'm looking for a gun, right?
Oh,
absolutely. And so I put my hands on the steering wheel and they told me, my father and older cat that was back in the day who was a PO put me on when I was younger. Never reach for, like he says, hand me your license. Never reach for it. Right? Always say my license. Tell him where your license is. Say my license is right here. Can I grab it? And wait for him to give you the verbal command.
Sometimes that doesn't work. Philando Castile pissed me the fuck off.
1,000%. But like, and that's the thing. Like you try to follow protocol as much as you can, and knowing that it's a possibility that it might happen, and it's a very low percentage. But it's even that the fact that I have to think about that shit is fucking stupid, right? It's ridiculous.
I mean, I obviously don't get profiled like that, and I like all my run-ins with cops. I think I have one ticket, maybe a speed. Do I have a speeding ticket? I don't think so. I might.
Fucking upstanding citizen.
I know. I definitely remember. I had one of my lights was out on a shitty car in high school, and I got a fix-it ticket. But most of the cops around here, when I was growing up, like it was basically just like, they're giving out like, kids drinking and shit. It wasn't like
right. It's like small town too, right?
Small town bullshit. Yeah. Like MIPs and shit, like minor in possession and stealing people's weed and shit. Like, I don't know. They've all been assholes, but never like egregious in a way that like we start picketing. I don't know. It grosses me out. Like you told me a story about. I think we were driving back to your house from the studio, and you were talking about like cops being weaponized and shit, like as like threats. Like that shit grosses me the fuck out.
That's the thing. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, are you just like look when? Well, you probably will never feel this.
I can't imagine I will.
Nah, it's like if and it's usually, I hate to typecast, but it's usually like it's usually white folks who are physically not able to like defend themselves in a situation.
Mm-hmm.
And what they'll do is they'll like poke, and then they'll be like, well, I'm gonna call the police.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why they do that is because they know that and so if women do that too. White women in my experience have done that too. And not to typecast all, because it's of course.
Yeah, just say Karen. We get it.
And in my experience, weaponizing the police officers against people is one of the most dangerous things that you can do. And it happened to me in front of my kids, unfortunately. Which who knows how it's going to affect them.
Yeah,
but it's just one of those things where, luckily they have a father who like understands the situation, right? Because I think a lot of the issues that is we don't know how to deal with our emotions, and it affects all of our decision making, and it's because of a lineage of being terrorized. Where was I? I was I was speaking at this event at a college, and it was me, um, Carlos, what is his name? Uh, one of the dudes that raised his fist for the 1968 Olympics protest.
Oh shit. Hold on.
Yeah, it was me, him, a Black history professor at the University of Houston. I forget. Anyway, and it's really when I it was
John
interesting. We were
Carlos.
talking about John Carlos. There you go, my guy. He was on my podcast. I should have known that. But
Yeah,
anyway, we're having this.
Tommy Smith was the other guy. They won with
Yeah,
the
Tommy
gold and
Smith,
silver, I think.
It's so funny. Yeah, it's so funny like hearing him talk. It's like they cool, but they're like not on the best of terms.
Oh, they don't get along.
From like from John Carlos's point of view, it's like he let him win the race, and he never really like acknowledged it publicly or whatever. And
He's
so like
that-
they kind of like
It's a pretty famous photo if anyone.
oh, it's a very famous photo.
I love that they're wearing those black gloves, man. That's the best.
It's probably the most famous one of the most famous sports political activists.
Shut up and dribble,
shots of all
okay?
time.
Athletes, you don't get to talk. Track people don't dribble basketballs, Karen.
Yeah, this is it. Bam. So anyway, so it's this guy right here. We're on this panel and we're talking about police brutality and police accountability, and some dude who listens to far too much Ben Shapiro gets up and he asks a question. And he didn't ask a question. He dude came to. I'm talking about this an auditorium full of people to hear his talk.
He came to get the own in.
My guy came with a notepad, and he started. So we took questions from the audience.
Did he do that? Please explain why black people commit this percentage of crime. Fuck's sake.
He did that, and then he said he did the arrest rates of the black community, yada yada yada.
Oh yeah, arrest rates are a really good example of how the police are racist.
And so he started getting booed. And I was like, hold on, because this is important. It's important for him to hear this answer. And so I let him spew his little statistic. And what I said to him, I was like, okay, that's amazing. I said, you like Marvin Gaye? And he was like, whatever. I was like, okay, well, Marvin Gaye had a song in the 70s, and it was called Inner City Blues.
Oh yeah.
And one it was it's a great song, by the way. And one of the lyrics, he said, trigger happy policing, right? He said that in 1970.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, we've been saying this before the 1970s. Okay, we've been saying this since just to give a stopping point, 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. We said it in the 80s. I grew up in the 90s.
1700s.
We're saying it in the right. We're saying it in the 2000s, and we're saying it today. Now, you tell me, bro, is everybody in every single era crazy, or is something happening? What do you think? He said, well, the data doesn't say yada yada. I was like, okay, that's a good. I said that's a good point, bro. I said that's a good point. Okay, so now you tell me this. I said, if I'm riding by, or if I'm riding my bike and a police officer tells me to get off my bike and he cusses me out and he threatens to beat me up and yada yada for no reason, where would I report that to? Would I report that to the police station? And he didn't have an answer. And so you know what I'm getting at. But the thing is, like, these people don't understand that we don't have a conduit,
like a recourse.
Yeah, there is none. And why would there be? And so, like,
systemically, no.
And so
systemically, it's important that you didn't, right? Like, as a culture, like, I mean, they literally feared, like, uprisings during the Civil War and shit.
Yeah.
Like, and for good fucking reason. But I mean, like,
like,
and even beyond that, like, and this parlay is perfectly into our next topic, but the Second Amendment.
Yeah, and so it's why that facts don't care about your feelings. What is that? A fucking
Ben Shapiro
manifesto that Ben Shapiro proselytizes is so dangerous and it's so ignorant because you're you're trying to lump social science in with hard science. It can't be.
Yeah.
Anecdote has to be taken into account in social science.
Well, even-
and that is a revelation that I had pretty recently.
Yeah. I went to school. Well, I guess you went to school for philosophy too, so that's more of like more of an esoteric sort of thought experiment field, I suppose. But I went into history, so a lot of what we think are facts about history aren't necessarily facts. They're corroborated accounts that we agree upon. Now, do you think that everything written about Abraham Lincoln says what we are taught about Abraham Lincoln? Of course not. Nothing that's said about me is what's true, right? I mean, not nothing, but I mean, like there's or about you, right? Like we both know that, like, just two people having a disagreement and publishing their thoughts on it and presenting it as fact, like, that changes history to whatever degree, depending on who you are and, you know, how many people do it. But so history isn't even like 100% reliable insofar as like a hard fact. So you do have to put into context, and this is what historians' jobs are, and why I found such a calling in it. I didn't finish, but it was so interesting to me, is that, like, it's about a story, and not a story we're fabricating, a story we're trying to recreate from like fragments of human life. And it's really, really interesting. And so when you look at the statistic, like, I don't know what they say, it's like, how come black people are only this low percentage of the population but commit this inordinately large amount of crime? Okay, so there's lots of things that go into this. And what you said is absolutely correct, just from an anecdotal perspective. Like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do? What's my recourse? But even beyond that, you crunch the numbers on this and you can find the answer to that, even within their data set that supports their racist conclusion, right? That there's some sort of deficiency due to your melanin amounts that it reflects on your character, which is obvious bullshit. From a cultural perspective, 1969 is when the black population in the United States of America was legally, and this is not socially, these are very different things, legally given the same rights. 1969. How many people do you know born before 1969 in your life?
It's my people.
Like literally like most of them. Like, we were born in the 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a generation before us.
I used to be like, my father had to be in, there was like martial law or something when he was a kid. He had to be in Los Angeles. He had to be inside the house before the streetlights were on.
Fuck yeah, we had Detroit race riots here. I mean, people forget this kind of shit. There were race riots all the time, and it's and they frame it as race riots because they want you to think, like, especially from a white perspective, you hear race riot, you don't think white people, do you?
No,
Do I? No, of course not. And so, I mean, people forget the fucking Tulsa bombings in 21. Like,
yeah.
Like, there's horrible shit that happens.
There's a dude that said something in my chat that
pissed you off?
No, of course not. A parlay something. It's a good point, right? He said, Aaron, if we're being totally honest about it, the African American people are treated pretty shitty around the world. You go overseas and it can be worse than it is here in America. At least here people attempt to hide it. Go to London, Asia, Middle East. They're straight up racist and don't really give a damn about showing it.
Yeah, that's called.
It's not an American thing. It's a historical thing. The white man has seen things that's made me be like, damn, that's some savage ass racism. And he was in the army. So
yeah,
I think that's a perspective thing, right?
I agree.
It's like it's probably where you're at, right? People get treated pretty fairly. And granted, I think you have to contextualize all accounts, right? So like, is the treatment of black people in America comparable to, I don't know, getting into that game is not even worth it, to be honest.
And I think
you're go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think there's a huge distinction between individual racist and the systemic racism in the United States. That is, it's like and if you're not from the United States, maybe you don't know, or I don't know. Like, it's like underneath everything is a layer of it. Like, when that's why we have to say, like, hood off and shit. Like,
and this is why American racism is so unique.
It's
and American
pernicious because of this.
Yes, and the reason why, like, when you talk about the slave trade, right? The reason why the slave trade was so unique in America was because, um, legislatively, it's never been done like it has been done in America,
Yeah.
right? So legislatively, it was okay, legally okay to discriminate against black people, right? And to this day, it still permeates throughout our systems, right? If you look at the CDC, um, the Center of Disease and Control, or whatever the fuck they're called,
Yeah, Center for Disease Control. Yeah.
yeah, so they do studies on how frequent people do drugs, right? And I'm preaching to the choir here. I'm talking to my chat mostly, bro.
Yeah.
They people do drugs at the same at pretty much the same rate. Black people, white people, Mexican, whatever case may be. But overwhelmingly, black people get locked up
War on drugs.
and for longer of period of a time than people of non-color, right? Every crime, every single thing that you can think of, black people get a disproportionate amount of punishment for. I mean, across the board, right?
Yeah,
So when you look at the reasons why, it's not just a systemic thing as far as like legislatively, right? It's deeper than that.
Oh yeah, cultural.
Yeah, it's a cultural thing that still permeates, right? It's the reason why when I get into an elevator against
I like
when,
that.
when I get into what a Freudian slip, right? When I get into an elevator with a white lady, she clutches her purse. It happens all the time, or she just like she's afraid of me, right? She's afraid of me,
and not even on like a real level.
Because black. No. It's been marketed to her.
Yeah,
it's been marketed to her for decades and decades and decades and decades, right? It's a dangerous narrative, and it's the reason why that right there is the reason why when somebody wears blackface, it's dangerous, right?
Yeah.
It's not because it's just like we're sensitive people and we just don't want you to take her. It's not some corny shit like that. It's because black stereotypes have been demonized, and they have been perpetuated in this society that has had real consequences on people's lives. It's the reason why you'll get a harsher sentence from the same jury. The studies have been done on this over and over and over again. You're more inclined to be viewed as bad and negative and horrible. And this is the side of Dr. Martin. Let me get off my pedestal after this, but this is the side of Dr. Martin Luther King. This is the side of Dr. Martin that white people in today's world refuse to fucking acknowledge, right? They always want to
I love it.
say that I have a dream speech. I hate this shit.
I follow a guy whose pinned tweet is, I love it that white people have never read the I Have a Dream speech.
They haven't read that.
Got so many retweets.
A letter to Birmingham jail. They haven't reversed. Martin Luther King was a fucking socialist. He was a socialist, right?
Yeah.
And so these conservatives who love to quote him on a sentence are fucking hilarious to me. But one of the most powerful things he said was like, if you look at the English language, and think about the adjectives that are used to describe things, right? If you think about everything good, it's white, right? A little white lie, pure. Look at white in the dictionary. It's beautiful. It's angelic. It's lovely. And you look at black, it's dark. It's sinister. It's evil. And so when you're growing up with that kind of imagery, and when you're growing up with that kind of adjective surrounding somebody, that permeates through how you feel about them, and how you feel about them has everything to do with how you treat them. Like
100%.
this is. And so when you're looking at policing, when you're looking at the judicial system, when you're looking at anything that has anything to do with how you treat human beings, you dehumanize them. And so that's why blackface is not just disrespectful, it's fucking dangerous, right? Because it permeates negative stereotypes. And granted, we're not where we were, but we're not where we need to be.
Wait, Barack Obama was president. We beat it. We beat racism, guys.
Oh my God, bro. You know what the funniest thing about? I went to the University of Tennessee. When Barack Obama was elected in 2008, it was my senior year. We have something called the Black Cultural Student Center on our campus. The day after, there's a sign outside the Black Cultural Student Center, and they got spray painted, said that nigger isn't my president. And there was cotton balls all over the lawn.
Sake.
They put cotton balls all over the lawn. So this I went to school with these cats, and they're now my age. And so like when people tell me that like yo, like racism isn't that bad, like bullshit, because what they're doing now is is they're denying people jobs. They're locking people up. They're dog. It kills me. I'm gonna stop talking.
No,
stop
I
talking
don't. I don't necessarily want you to stop talking about it. Like
because
people don't. People, especially my community, they hear my perspective, and
Right.
we watch other people talk about it. But like you're literally right here talking about it in your lived experience. Like I think that's good.
Yeah. No, it gets frustrating. I worked myself up here, but it's frustrating because when you'll hear like the reason why Colin Kaepernick and the rest of us kneeled in the lack of police accountability, right? And then you'll hear the backlash from conservatives, right? You hear the backlash from people. I lost family members because of this, and you hear the backlash. But what you won't do is these fucking facts over feelings people won't actually look at the facts and see how the Department of Justice came out with reports that said they found systematic racism in the Baltimore Police Department, the Detroit Police Department, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have Chicago, you have ex fucking KKK members that come out and say we used to recruit people to go into the police forces. We used to recruit people to go into politics, right? And so, like, what is that telling us?
Duke is right there.
Yeah, and so what is that telling us? That it's alive, well, and breathing. They're just
yeah.
And so one of the most powerful things that happened to me was there was a group text. There was a group text that went on before Colin Kaepernick kneeled on the first day, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was
a group text with other NFL players.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me get back to my fall leaves falling in autumn.
Sure.
Background.
Oh, that'll calm you down. That'll calm you down. There you go.
But there was a group text, a league-wide text, and each team had like 2 people representative, right? And so they were talking like, "What are we going to support Colin? Are we not going? What are we going to do?" Right? And
I'm assuming you were one of those representatives.
Yeah, of course.
Who's the other one? Andre?
No, this was when I was with Miami.
Oh, okay. I don't know who.
And so it was me and Kenny Stills, I believe. And so we're talking, and I'm listening to these dudes, and it's obvious that nobody wants to kneel, right? There was like a handful of guys that kneeled in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And I always tell them, man, people are only woke when it's safe, right? Like you do shit when it's safe.
When it doesn't affect your bottom line. And
shit. When it does. So now, like kneeling now is safe. Talking about the NCAA now is safe. Like right, but when it's in the height, like that's when it matters. But anyway, there was a group chain of text, and I'm realizing nobody really wants to. Like, so I left it. I was like, listen, like y'all can do whatever you're gonna do, but just don't undermine message, right? So I'm kneeling, y'all do what y'all want to do, and I left. The next day there was a player that came up to me and said, man, I really like what you were saying in the chat, yada yada yada. And like what he didn't understand was that like we had like I told him, and it's crazy on his face, right? It's like our fight is harder than our grandmothers and grandfathers' fights. And he's like, what? I was like, the reason why it's harder is because although I can drink out of the same water fountain as my guy Jake, my fight, our generation's fight, is to convince people that there's still a fight, and that's hard as fuck to do. It's like you're swinging at ghosts, right? Because you're giving them statistics still happening, but they don't believe it because they
fucking poetry right now. Jesus Christ.
but they if they can't see if it's not in their face, they don't feel like it's a real threat. But it's still not only is it a real threat, it's an even bigger threat, right? You look at President Trump, like it's a big threat. There's a literal white supremacist in office, and there's people denying that he's a white supremacist. It's fucking unbelievable. And that's the threat that you're facing, is like if you don't address these issues head on and take responsibility, then this kind of stuff is going to happen. You're going to normalize the bigotry.
Yeah, living in the separate realities, right? Like, and again, they're so good, and this is why I'm really happy that that Richard Spencer tape came out. Like, it's kind of shit like that where you like, for some reason, people are convinced they have to hear somebody. This happens in the white community a lot, and a lot of us on the left fight the fuck out of this. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's like they don't want to believe it or they just don't want to be exposed themselves. I don't know what it is, but like I've literally had people, and this is shocking, literally had people say, unless someone says I'm racist, you can't label them as such. Even if they do racist things, even if they say racist things, like how can we possibly know what a person is unless they say they're racist? Like, and this was a conversation about Richard Spencer, who wants a fucking ethno state. Like what else do I need? Like, that is objectively racist.
Definition.
Yeah, like I had another person who said I'm totally not racist, and they claim to be a lefty. and I debated them, and maybe you should watch that. I don't know. They said, yeah, it's on my YouTube. It's the debate was they thought race mixing was bad. Like,
what was their reasoning?
They said it was basically that there's no situation, and I understand there is some truth to by the way, there's like a power difference, right? There's like a but it wasn't just like white and black, right? It was like other races of minorities, like a black and an Asian person shouldn't race mix. Like, we have to preserve our specific cultures. Like, you should watch that debate. It's gross in general because it's not like, it's just like a different kind of racism.
You should watch it. You have a miserable time.
That isn't what we're talking about. But yeah, like if you, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, but like there's these people that like they've lost the fucking plot, like on reality. Like, if someone is literally actively advocating for things that harm a specific group of people, they are anti that group of people, even if they say they're not. Like, Trump draped himself in the pride flag. Did we buy it? He put Brett Kavanaugh in office. He kicked trans people out of the fucking military. Like, come on, guys.
Right.
Like
right.
if just because people aren't wearing Klan hoods doesn't mean they're fucking not racist. Like, this isn't our bar. We can do better. We can look at somebody and go, you know what you're saying is bullshit. And
yeah.
I guess back to the point of like those statistics that guy brought up to you at the thing. Like, there's a reason into the war on drugs and all that shit. Like,
yeah.
You do realize that, like, if we go on the premise police are racist, or systemically speaking, racist outcomes occur, which is probably the best way to say that. What would we expect to see? Well, we would expect to see to see an inordinate amount of arrests in the group of people that we're monitoring racistly. We would expect to see an inordinate amount of harsh penalties incurred on those people. We would expect to see more violent acts against those people in an inordinate fashion based on the number of arrests. We would expect to see a communal distrust between that group of people and the police. We would expect it, and turns out it's literally just the reality we live in, right? Now, what if we didn't have a racist community and we assume that everybody is equal, and we're not looking at through a racist lens, right? We're not assuming someone is actually inherently lesser for some fucking reason. We would expect to see roughly equal numbers, right? But we have a war on drugs that specifically was targeted. Initially, it was targeted on the southern border and Hispanic and Mexican marijuana use, but that quickly changed to over penalizing crack over cocaine, the white part of the drug, the same drug, but one is used in the LA black community more, and probably by the CIA. That was a CIA thing. But
side note, that's one of the things that I like, because I'm not a huge Obama fan.
Yeah,
I liked what he presented, but I wasn't a huge fan of his presidency. But that's one of the things he did do that doesn't get any credit for. Like within the black community, is he I think he switched that, like the what was the act?
Oh, I don't know.
The act that he passed that said hard, so crack and cocaine. So it's not just it wasn't a powder discrepancy. It's and so that they start being sentenced the same, right? Because that was a racist fucking policy.
Yeah.
Let me see.
By the way, someone reminded me in chat about the racist person I debated. I debate so many racists. That person was saying that not only are the relationships themselves risky in interracial relationships, which I find offensive, but implying that, like, I don't know, that neither minorities can have agency nor can white people, like, or not even just white people, just like literally two people specifically can't exist. Like, systemically, I totally agree that, like, there's lots of problems, but like on an individual basis, like, It's not fucking risky. But it was more about like, imagine what our kids are gonna look like in the future. And it's like their skin is gonna look not like it did before.
They
Like,
have a little more melanin, dog,
or less, or less. Like it was just like we're slowly bleeding into each other, and I think that's fucking great for racism.
Oh, it's inevitable,
right?
It's inevitable.
And like, why are we against this
That-
sort of like
that? There is the underlying thing behind like the white supremacy.
exactly?
right?
And this person wasn't a white supremacist, but they were saying the same shit, and I was like, I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind.
They understand full and well genetics, and somehow, somewhere, I don't know the reason. I'm not a genetic, but if if a dark man has a baby with a white woman, it's gonna come out a little darker than the white woman, right?
Yeah.
And over centuries, if that continues to happen, you know exactly what's gonna happen. So that is the fear, and so that fear is rooted in their own supremacy.
I don't know
right?
what's so scary. I mean, you're right here. You're mixed, good-looking dude. Like, I think that's
you,
okay,
bro.
man. Like,
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Like, it's.
I love my skin. I got good skin.
It's not. You do have a good skin tone. It's not weird that white people tan. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah.
Like. I mean. There's a lot of things that white culture loves to appropriate from y'all. I'm just saying. Including a little bit of that melanin, not too much though, because it'll get scary. But like,
because yucky. No, this is.
No, I can wear camo and listen to rap at the same time, and have a fucking Confederate flag and go to the tanning booth. But I don't know if you don't let me say the N word when I listen to Lil Wayne, I'm gonna get real mad.
It's called. So it's the Fair Sentencing Act. Just to put it out there for people.
Okay.
Interesting. Fair Sentencing Act.
I don't like minimum sentencing, no matter what. But this is better than it was.
Yeah, no. So Obama don't get the credit he deserves for that. But I think his hands were tied, man.
I think so too. He had a lot. I mean, he had a lot of obstructionism. That said, he was a liberal. He was a liberal and not a leftist. Like, let's be clear. And there was some hawkish shit. Drones aren't cool.
He was definitely a war criminal. I say that all.
I don't think you can have a president without being a war criminal. Like, if I was president, I feel like I would end up being a war criminal at some point. Like,
I wouldn't. I would have to get assassinated, dog.
Yeah,
I think about that a lot. Like, what would I do if I ever had power? I would be radical enough to get assassinated.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't like me at all. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
There's no way white people, in general, that are super racist would be like, oh, that guy's okay. And there's no way in general, like, I don't know. I'm just so abrasive to people that are just fucking wrong. Like, there's no fucking way I don't piss off someone that owns a bunch of guns that wants to shoot me from long range.
I agree. I agree 1,000%. Yeah. I don't.
That's why I live in a brick house. Just kidding.
And it's cold as shit up there, though.
Yeah, it is cold. But it's good snuggling weather,
Yeah.
That's why we keep meat on our bones, dude. I'm basically just 50% chili.
I'm a fan of cuddle season, dog. I love cuddle season.
Cuddle season's great. Hey, this is that good, not toxic masculinity shit. Although we were talking earlier, and we didn't get into that because we went off in another way. And this is not related to anything, but I wanted to ask you, and you just reminded me. Do you think emotion? And this is we're off the racism thing. I'm sorry, I derailed it. Do you think the emotional disconnect you were talking about earlier is rooted in the more toxic parts of masculinity that we grew up with? Because I don't know. I feel like that's part of the shit I'm fighting as a like kind of human growth over time.
1,000%. I have to check myself sometimes with my kids, right? Like my little son will be crying about some stupid shit, and I'm like, well, if you don't look at her with that. But then I have to remind myself, it's like, dog, why is it not okay to feel?
Yeah.
Right. Like, why it's okay to feel, and I struggle with it sometimes still, but for the majority of the time, my first reaction is suck that shit up, stop crying, like.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, kids will manipulate you with their tears. But
yes.
And so you have to kind of toe the line, and that's part of being a parent, is understanding your child and understanding their strengths and weaknesses and building on those, right? And so
it's a healthy way to look at it too. So I mean,
yeah. So but my innate reaction is hyper masculinity. It's just this like don't it's not okay to feel. It's not okay to cry. It's not like that's my innate reaction, which is horrible way to go about life.
When someone starts crying, and
I laugh.
It depends on the context, but
No, not me.
You every time you laugh.
Every time somebody's crying, my first reaction is, oh man, that's my
yeah.
Like if my lady starts crying, like I'm trying to have a conversation with her, and I'm laughing, not at her, but it's just like it makes me uncomfortable, and that's how I deal with my uncomfortability.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It's horrible because she thinks I'm like mocking her. I'm not.
I definitely. I think if you ask my girlfriend, she'd tell you I probably do the same from time to time. It's something I fight with, but I really I stand by the fact that I don't want to have like a hard conversation with you while you're crying.
It's tough.
So because like you're not going to be thinking clearly, and you're not going to say things you mean, whether you're even saying mean things or you're just not going to explain your perspective clear enough because it's clouded in emotion. And it's not to say that emotion is bad. It's just that like it's not conducive to the conversation. That said, when you have those feelings, they're valid, and I'd rather you just spent time with those feelings. And if you need me to be there for you, specifically, I guess in the case of my girlfriend or I guess a friend or whatever,
pretty healthy.
I think it's fine for me to let's just have this. But like if you're trying to argue with me while you're crying, I'm just not fucking having it. I shut off, and it's not like an emotional like. How some people shut off and they just don't talk or whatever. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I want to talk. I want to talk right now. I don't like going to bed angry. Like, it's not like her and I fight a lot, but I've had other relationships, obviously, and like that shit. It irritates me when people just want to sit on shit and bottle it in, and I think that's an overcorrecting of my former self.
That's me. Until and see. So like, if my lady's crying and there's no, I'll only snap, and when I snap, I say what I feel. That visceral, like I'm gonna tell you exactly how I feel.
Sure.
What gets me to that point is if you keep pushing me and you're wrong, right?
Yeah.
and I know you're wrong. Like I'll be like, okay, no, I understand that you feel like that. It's like, well, I'm always like, what's the resolution? Are we trying to resolve the issue? Are we trying to resolve?
Right. Are we just fighting because it feels good?
Yeah.
Cathartic or whatever.
Like, right. And so when I feel like you're just trying to pick a fight with me, I'll give it to you. Like at a certain point, I'll be like, all right, like I'm gonna show you why you're wrong. That's fucking stupid.
When we
That's
first
dumb
started
as hell.
dating, she had just come out of a relationship where fighting was like a daily thing, which was obviously not healthy. And so she would pick fights with me like that shit early on. And I was like, dude, I'm just letting you know this is not how it works. And I told her before that, but obviously you can't control how you're adapting slowly over time. She would pick fights and be like, and like raise her voice immediately. I'm like, you don't have to do that. Like, just talk to me. It's fine. I think I come across as cold sometimes to people. I actually know I come across as cold sometimes to people when I do that shit, where it's just like, look, I'm not gonna get into like an emotional like thing with you unless you push me. I mean, it's not like I don't ever do it. Like, I'm not a monk, but like I try really hard. I try really hard because I come from a place where my mom is very emotional, and my dad is not empathetic, and it's not like they fought constantly, but like near the end of their marriage, it was
like man, woman.
Yeah. But their marriage ended, and I sort of like I got to know him better, which was worse for our relationship.
I was like, I forgot. I was like, oh, that's really good.
No. It was no. He did not do a good job of communicating or coping or anything. Like after they got divorced, and like she did a shitty thing. She cheated on him and shit. Sorry, Mom, I'm putting you on blast a little bit, but I don't blame her. I understand. I do understand. Not that anyone deserves like a betrayal like that or anything. Like that's really fucked up. But I do get it. I understand why she would seek that space. And it's because of how he is. He's just like and I think this is why maybe I overcorrected, because that's who I learned, air quotes, how to be a man from, you know what I mean? Like, and when I see that blow up in my late teen years and into my adulthood, right, I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck it means to be a man. Does being a man have to be a specific thing? In my opinion, I don't think it means anything. I think it's a cultural thing that is. I think being decent is what it means to be a man and a woman, or whatever you are.
I mean, that's kind of the cultural thing we're kind of arguing publicly about right now. Like, what does it mean to be a man? Like,
exactly. And like they say man up and shit. Well, what the fuck does that mean? Man up usually means when we're talking to one another, like bottled up. Like don't talk to anybody about your actual feelings. Like don't let someone know that hurt your feelings. Don't let someone know that you were insecure about this. And like I've talked to people about insecurities before, publicly, like plenty of times. But like I've had people like that otherwise would have been pretty, and this is like relationships with women and stuff that don't expect that from a man. Like, hey, by the way, this is sort of like a point of insecurity for me, and I don't have a lot of them, but I have a couple, and it's like. Just so you know, like this is like one of those things, and like I received negativity for opening up about that before, and it's like really weird.
About opening up about what?
Just any insecurity. Like in general, like and because it's expected that like even though like sensitivity is something that we talk about, we want in people, it makes us uncomfortable. I think.
Say that one more time.
Like culturally speaking, I think when we ask that people want sensitivity in one another, it makes a lot of people actually uncomfortable when we're actually talking about what our sensitivities truly are. Yeah. And so I think those conversations
get
tough.
Sit with your stuff. Yeah, I think it makes you sit with your feelings, right?
Yeah.
And that's I think the biggest issue, and why I'm like on the fence about being okay with everybody being able to have babies, because it's like. I say that kind of flippantly,
like a future natalist sort of. Yeah.
Bro, I mean, I say that kind of flippantly, but it's like dog, like the implications of you and an emotionally unstable human being raising an emotionally unstable human being are fucking massive. They affect everybody, right? And so, I'm not. I don't think we should shine at this shit, and you know. But
yeah, I think from a philosophical standpoint, you have something like it makes sense.
And
I just from an ethical standpoint, you can make the case.
Well, on a pragmatic level, what I'm more so getting at is catering to the emotional needs of a community. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So like I was speaking at some school this last week, and it's a new startup school, and it's a Black owned. I think it's a charter school.
In your area?
No, it's way up north. And I was surprised that such an innovative school didn't have a course or a class on social media. Like that should be mandated, right?
We need to really start educating people about that shit. Yeah,
mandate, because what's happening is these kids are, it's here, right? It's here, and so I don't shield my kids from technology anymore, because I'd be the biggest hypocrite in the world, because it's like I spend all
here we are.
I'm on this. Rob Sox, thanks for the Twitch Prime. So I'm on this. I play video games. I watch movies. I all my banking is done online. Everything I do is done online, right? Everything. And so to sit here and say, get off your iPads and go play in a tree, it's like,
go play in a tree.
That's not the fucking. That was racist. If you said that was.
If I said that, that would be racist.
But that's not the future anymore, right? So that's not the future. And so to pretend like our future is going to be anything else than infused with technology is ridiculous. So I don't shield them from that. And if that's the case, it's my responsibility to them, show them how to navigate on the internet and to understand where the pitfalls are, where the traps are, where the you know what I'm saying? Like my daughter wanted to start a YouTube channel, right? She wants to talk about her like horse stable or whatever the case may be. So I was like, I don't have a problem, right?
I love your bougie ass kid with her horse stable.
Right? And so no, hold on. She don't got horses. It's like a game, bro.
Oh, okay. I was all right. So she goes over to wherever, because I know your house doesn't have horses. I was like,
no way in hell.
Because I know people like that. Like, because out here we have horse space.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Horse people are so fucking strange, dude. Have you met horse people?
I've never met a horse.
Oh
I mean, I
my
met him, but
dude.
not to spend the time with him enough to be like, hey.
Hey, I don't blame you. They're all white and they're all weird as fuck. They're so strange.
I haven't met enough horse people. But no, so she's on this horse stable thing, and it's like I guess it's like a video game. She kind of like
Sure.
talks about it or whatever. But I have to inform her, which is a creepy ass thing to do. I just have to inform her, like, you have to tell her, like, yo, not all people on the internet are good, right?
Yeah.
And like, so like sometimes like you might be talking to a little girl and she might be doing something for somebody else to try to get you to meet somebody. Never meet somebody. Never give your address. Never give like, right. This is like real conversation to have with my 10-year-old daughter, which is wild. But it's better that than her finding out about the internet from somebody else, somebody at her school, and they have a, you know what I'm saying? They can get caught up because it's a real thing.
And she's 10. I mean, she's got like a couple years before she's in her teen years.
Yeah,
and shit
for
gets
really
wild, man.
Right. And so I'm on the forefront of that, and so I'm letting her know what's out there. Understanding social media, understanding the validation that it is a real variable in today's society, and how likes affect people's emotions, and chemically it affects people. Like, it's a real thing that we have to deal with, but we're just acting like it's this thing. It influences our politics. It influences every single thing, every facet of our lives it influences. And
Dude,
so to pretend,
I literally barely ever take a shit without social media.
I was thinking about that shit the other day, dog. I don't remember the last time I took a shit without my phone.
Yeah, and
what do you do?
Do you know? Do you do the thing where, and I guarantee most people do this thing, where your phone might not even be near you, and you're like, "Oh man, I got shit. Better go get my phone."
No question.
Yeah,
No
like,
question.
I don't just want to shit. Like,
I need it, dog. I need it.
Yeah,
And
it's real weird.
If you haven't, I suggest this.
Oh, how's that? How is that?
With everything in me, brother. Not only is
everything out of you now.
Yeah, with everything out of me. I suggest this. So whoever has not shat on the squatty
Wait, is
potty.
that where it goes that far out? I felt like it was closer.
No. It's supposed to be a little more in. I don't know.
All right, this dude is he's just stretching
course,
his
of
legs.
course.
He's
Of course, the
his
black
legs fell
dude
asleep
does it wrong,
because his leg.
and the white lady got it right. God damn it, squatty potty.
God damn it, squatty potty, not you too.
This not you too, squatty potty. Yeah, no. So this one right here. This is the original one. This is one I got.
The OG squatty potty.
Dog,
okay.
I'm telling you. Listen, look, if you
don't get that bamboo shit.
I feel like that's for like people with rustic decor in their bathroom. You know what I mean? I don't got the rustic decor.
This is for your outhouse is the bamboo flip.
Yeah, you know, right?
Yeah.
And so if you eat like shit, your shits are gonna be regular, horrible, stringy, liquidy, whatever. But if you eat well,
yeah,
and you do this,
a lot of roughage, a lot of salads and
bro,
shit.
like, so when I shit somewhere, and this is grotesque, but it's dog, okay, hold on, before we go a little further, there is a video I saw on how a society does its sewage is like directly correlated to like its prosperity, right?
Okay.
And so it's like a real thing. Like sewage had everything to do.
People don't think about this. Sewage is such an important part of civilization.
Oh my God, it's so
Rome
important.
had self-cleaning streets. Did you know that?
I didn't know that,
dude. Someday we'll go into like history and shit. We'll do a whole thing on that. But basically they had water cisterns at the top. They would build on slopes, and they had water cisterns that would. Basically, there was ditches on each side of the roadway in between the houses and shit on main areas. And, in some places. Like, I'm talking like Rome. And you see those little divots right there on the sides?
Which one you looking at?
That one right there, the Roman road thing.
Right.
Sometimes they'd have, like at night to wash these out. They'd be on a slope, and they would just push water down them and into the. I mean, they were polluting and shit. Like, they didn't know that stuff, but like, they had passive air conditioning a lot of the time, where they would build the houses in a certain way to make sure the wind flow was going through and shit. Like, and then Dark Ages happened, and England had to start all over, and it was really terrible. But Yeah, you're kind of looking at England. You're looking at Europeanized, like reclaimed Roman roads, but yeah, they had a whole system in some of the bigger cities. It was really really cool.
Somebody said, "Old Town Rome," but
Oh fuck!
I liked it, Edgar. I liked it.
Old Town Rome. I'm gonna.
But no. So
Conquer?
anyway, so back to shitting.
Back to shitting.
If you do it with the squatty potty and you're eating good food and
The best shits of your life.
the flow
The
that you
flow?
have is, I mean, you believe in evolution thing, right? It happened, right?
Yeah.
The way that we shit is not
Yeah.
it's not conducive to our digestive tract, and so
We're
when
supposed to
you
be
put
squatting
your
on the
knees
ground,
up,
like
yes, and so when you
our
put
great
your
apes.
knees closer to your chest and you rotate your body like that, it flows, dog. And when I shit other places, I hate it. I cannot stand shitting like that anymore because it doesn't feel normal anymore. I've been doing this for probably like 5 years now.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a thing, dog. I am a believer. And their marketing is brilliant. Have you seen that commercial with the unicorn?
Oh yeah.
It's
I don't have a lot of bad
gorgeous.
shits because I do eat a varied diet of I try to eat vegetables and shit. I'm just kind of locked into being sedentary for the most part. But
That's a $20 word.
yeah. Well, obviously my job isn't very active, and also my ankle's fucked, and so it's really hard to like do stuff. But if I
Sedentary.
yeah, just basically sitting around.
Ah.
Doing
Yeah, I've never
hardcore,
heard of that word.
not
man.
physically
Thank you.
active is kind of locked into it. I used to not have to be, but yeah, it
What is the root of it?
said it. I don't actually know.
Sorry, I love words.
From a etymology standpoint, I have no clue.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I love the words. I have the best words.
The best words.
I have the best words.
You have a pretty decent lexicon. I dig it.
Nobody
There you
has
go.
the
That's
better
another good word
than
for
me.
you,
I have the best
lexicon.
words.
What was I saying? Oh, but no, my shits are usually pretty good. I'll have to take you up on the,
What was I saying?
I'll have to take you up on the squatty potty shit.
I'm telling you, bro. It's like
It seems like it'd be uncomfortable at first. Like, do you also wait? When you when
Hey,
when
bro,
we're on,
hey,
do we use the squatty potty on cleanup too, or are we dismounting?
Hold on, brother. Let me just make this point.
Wait, okay,
There isn't anything
okay,
that is comfortable at first that is
true.
beneficial.
Fair enough.
You got to break out your shit and shell.
Break out the shit.
But no, we definitely dismount. We dismount
We
to.
dismount.
Well, no, you don't got to dismount to wipe. You just
No,
just
God.
do
Well,
a nice little, hold on. This is
your flexibility probably improves though, right? Like your hips are real loosey goosey.
Yeah, I got some good hip flexors.
We're doing an hour on shit, okay, guys? We're doing an hour on it.
So
Toilet paper over the top.
are you over the top
over the
or
top,
underneath guy?
over the top.
Okay, all right. So these people here are fucking
Psychopaths.
serial killers. Like
Yeah,
I don't
no.
understand.
I don't. What's going on there? What
I
do you
don't
got
get
going?
it, dog.
Like what? You know what?
I don't
though?
understand.
It
Like you have to like reach to cut it rather than just.
Yeah, no.
You could just snap it off and use the. I don't understand, dog.
And plus, you can do that really cool like flick, and you're like, I know the exact amount of rotation needed for the exact amount I need. And you go boom, and you rip it off.
So
Oh yeah.
I recently found out that my lady fucking is using all our toilet paper, and it's not.
She uses
from shits.
Does she wrap it around her fucking hand?
Yes.
What?
Dog, what is this?
What?
What is this?
Okay, are you a folder? I fold.
I fold
Yeah,
meticulously,
I've
and
got
I
a
get
system, and it like layers,
I
so
can
you
get,
don't.
I can get three. I can get 3 wipes out of one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Holy shit! This is guys.
Now, grant it took a lot of
this is
experimenting.
facts, okay, this is
and
why we're
hand
here on
washing.
Sunday service. All right.
Sunday service. So like I found out. So it was random. Like she's still. I mean, we've been together 5 years now, dog,
Mhm.
and she still like won't fart in front of me, or if she does, I don't notice.
Dude,
right?
I'll
And,
fart in
like,
front of her. I don't care.
I fart. I don't care. And so she won't fart with me, and so like when she's in the bathroom, I'll be fucking with her. She's like, "Stop!" Still, I'm like, "Bro, like I've seen every inch of your body." And so
I know, right? It's so weird. Like I don't know. People that are like people that are like that is like, come on, like let's just break it down a little bit. Didn't she had your child?
No. So I walk in on her, and she's about to wipe, and I'm like, "Did you just shit?" And she's like, "No, I just peed." I'm like, "What the fuck is all the toilet paper for?" And she has fucking, oh my god, her hand is orbiting
She
her other hand with toilet paper, and I'm like, "Dog, if you don't stop, you're gonna clog the toilet off of urine." It's insane. I was upset, dog. I was highly upset, and I didn't
like. It's almost like an affront to Nick. My brother does that shit, and I
don't
know
get
that
it,
because
dog.
I used to live with him, and I'll be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I don't get it, dog. And you know what? You know what's crazy is like when you think back, no one like really taught
No one
you how
teaches
to
you
wipe.
that shit.
Like
no.
it's like you kind of just figure out your
yeah.
and nobody. So there's no way to correct it. Like other people clogging toilets, be like, "Damn, he's septic isn't very strong." Like, nah, B, like you
Using a
you fucking stuffing toilet paper down there, bro.
do you just want like one of those towels on a stick that you could just like
Bro, okay. On another side note, one time I didn't have any toilet paper.
Ooh,
and
what's
so
the method? Sock?
No. I had like it's like a couple rags, right?
Sure.
And I used those, and I was like, damn, if we could do this all the time, I'm game, because that shit was amazing.
Oh
Like,
man, you gotta buy the high end toilet paper. Don't tell me you're going cheap on toilet paper. You got the money.
No, I never
All
go
right,
check.
like,
Although
like-
my
oh, dude,
my
like,
guy does. So
what?
I went upstairs. So swag.
What's he doing?
One of my best friends live. For people that don't know, one of my best friends live with me.
All right,
I go all in. I will spend extra dollar for toilet paper.
bro. Your butthole is attached to your body.
Facts,
like, take care of it.
I need it. So I went upstairs, and like the studio's upstairs, and so I was in the studio. So I had to go to the bathroom, and I wasn't downstairs. And my guy has the fucking like
Angel Soft bullshit.
no, not even that. He
Oh,
has
we
the
talking
fucking
like porta potty at the beach?
like the
Oh,
industry,
fuck.
like you trying to save a penny toilet paper. And I
Hey.
addressed him. I was like, fam, like why do you have this?
Did he grow up poor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Me
I did
too.
too.
Me too. I understand. My mom buys that shit still. I go over to her house. I'm like, you have a real job now. You can like.
There's options.
You're 60 something years old. We're good. Like, let's get some real toilet paper, dude.
Explore your options, bro. I was upset. It's almost like you looked at it like a character flaw. Almost. It's like it's like, bro, like, why do you feel like this is okay? Like, why do you feel like maybe it's like you're low key a masochist and yourself or something. Like, I don't know.
He likes it when that little pink comes out on the toilet paper. It's like, boom, there we go. That's the
Bro,
perfect wipe. I'm done. I'm clean.
I just don't. I don't like the fact that you like. There's a high probability that you can get shit on your hand.
Yeah. And for the people out there who are like, it's cheaper. No, it isn't. You're using way more toilet paper. Okay.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Okay. From a quantity standpoint, you're hurting the environment. Okay. You're hurting your butthole,
All
and
around.
you're
hurting your friendships.
You're hurting your fucking friends, your family.
Family, you don't care about people, bro.
You don't
care about.
You clearly don't care about
me.
people. You're basically a serial killer. Like, honestly. You need to get your life together. Like, if I could wipe with a fucking like literal cotton all the time and still throw it in the toilet, I would. Like the softest, that's Charmin Ultra Strong. That's that good stuff.
I think we're Charmin. I
Charmin
believe we're
soft
Charmin.
or I like the strong just in case. You never know what's gonna happen. You know.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I haven't bought toilet paper myself in a long time, but it always shows up.
Hey man, hey.
It always shows up at the house.
Must be nice, but.
No, I mean we have to get it, but like my lady.
Charmin's that good stuff. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I don't even know where he gets it. Like I feel like he
gets that Scott shit right there. That Scott or Angel Soft. That's that bullshit. My mom buys both of those.
He gets it in bulk from like
it's like 50 cents. They give it away.
You know those local store brands where it's
look at the price of that Angel Soft, that mega roll thing. Like just scroll down just a little bit.
Family store toilet paper, right?
Yeah. Scroll. Yeah, look at that. It's like $15 for like 45 pounds of that. But like if you just went to that Ultra Strong, look, it's double the price for mega rolls from Charmin, I guarantee you those will last longer. I'm telling you, do some shit science, chat. Okay, do a little shit science. You're getting your money's worth and comfort. It's gonna yeah. No.
Okay, so where do you stand on wipes?
Wet wipes? I mean, my asshole doesn't bleed, but like they're so like I don't need it. But like if they're around, like if I go to someone's house or something, I don't shit a lot in other people's house. If they're around, like pamper yourself every once in a while. You're special. You know what I mean? Like this is a time for you.
I deserve this.
I don't use it all the time, but like yeah, I don't like having a wet butthole, but yeah.
I think so. Here's too much of a personal thing, but
no, fuck this. We're already talking about our shitting habits. There's literally this is as personal as it gets.
But you know what? It shouldn't be taboo to talk about it because it's. I think that what is the study like? You spend 7 of your entire years in the bathroom.
I hope it's not that much, but goddamn,
I think it also. Just
don't flush those wipes. Some of them are very flushable. Like this one says flushable. I'll write on it.
How long do spend in
ramble was just
Jesus Christ.
Thanks for following.
How much time do we spend in the bathroom? There we go.
Let's see. 9.
Okay, so I was way off. I think it was
no 92 days over a lifetime. Holy shit.
That's a lot. Okay, I was way off, but yeah,
that's even more. That's worse. I guess when you think about how short a day is, I guess it's not that much. But like, yeah, no, I spend way more. 42 minutes a week. 42 minutes per shit. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
have you? What? This is No. I spend a year at least.
I'm way over that.
No.
Way over that. I average probably 30 minutes on the squatty potty.
Well, the squatty potty. Yeah, I mean that's you time. You know what I mean?
But you know what? That's another thing too. Is like my show doesn't shit long, right? It's like she'll do it for like
2 seconds.
Yeah, and she's up, and I'm like, how does it?
Like, yeah, are you like forcing that out? Like, are you okay? Like, how do you not blow an O-ring?
I sit there until I know I don't got nothing left.
Right, I don't want to come back. I don't like. I'll sit there and double tap that shit at the same time.
You double tap.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be back here. It takes a long time.
What the hell? Hold on, my guy sent me a link that says old dude says he wipes his poop with his hands.
Stop the fuck! Shut the.
Oh.
You're what? Okay, you want? I can't hear it on your. You want to send me that? Like, oh my.
So this is.
What's this fucking shit? Wait, he just wipes his hand like he. Okay.
Do you know who Charlemagne the God is?
Yeah, I do. I don't know who this is though.
So it's his bodyguard.
Oh.
Yeah. So like I remember this. So the preface, like he thought everybody did this. So it's not like he's just an outlet. He was like, hold on, what do y'all do? Right?
Wait. He thought so it must be he wipes it with his hand, then wipes it off on the stuff on the toilet paper.
I'm not sure. I don't know his process for sure.
Well, he's a psychopath no matter what, obviously. So
let me know.
All right.
Like we all touch shit before.
We all touch shit before. Hold on, wait. One sec.
Oh, yeah, cue it up.
Wait, he shits. Wait, he shits. Oh.
Just like we all
cue it up. Watch it at the same time.
Yeah. Sorry, it started auto playing. Okay, so I'm assuming before we get into this, he takes the toilet paper, shits into his open hand, and then drops it in the toilet. Maybe. I'm guessing. I have no idea. Anyway, okay.
I don't know.
Ready?
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right.
Just like we all touch shit before.
I've never shitted in a tissue before.
You touch shit every single day if you shit. Like, you don't wipe yourself? It got shit in the tissue when you wipe yourself.
You don't know how to get the... Why are you touching the shit? The tissue is for the shit.
That's what I'm saying. You grab shit all the time.
No, you're not saying that. You don't. Yeah, you
You're
wipe.
Not wiping, you grab the shit.
You don't grab. Why are you grabbing shit?
Hold on.
Do you got shit stuck in your ass while you're taking...
So you telling me that y'all just let the doodle fall in the toilet?
What?
Y'all don't catch it every time?
Yo. I am about to leave, bro.
How do y'all take a shit? I must have seen this shit wrong.
Yeah, man.
My shit all these years.
Nah, I'm more disgusted than I feel like I can't continue.
What are you talking about?
My stomach
so
is
hold on,
turning.
so y'all just sit there and shit come right out.
No
way.
He said no way. Like, we crazy. Like,
something like that. What do you do then?
That shit, you wash your hands. Why do you think people wash their hands?
Yo, you shit in your hand, bro?
With tissue.
This is worse than I thought.
Oh no!
Hey, bro.
I didn't think it was. I think it was gonna be that bad. Oh.
Hey, but that's exactly what he's talking about. Where it's like, man, you don't like nobody teaches you really. Like you kind of just do your own thing.
That's the last thing I would think, though.
His entire life, he's been shitting in his hand.
But
like, what the fuck, son?
But that implies his thought process was like, it's what happens when it just falls right out. Like,
Yo,
I don't know.
I dapped this nigga too. Charlamagne was on my podcast and I met him.
When you dap, so you got poo poo hands.
Nah, I got. Luckily, I didn't catch nothing from it, man.
Poo poo hands.
But, God damn, family, what is you doing? I'm gonna give him the elbow. Next time I dap him, I'm just gonna give him the elbow. You straight, man. I ain't even gonna hit him with the fist bump. I ain't gonna hit him with the fist bump. I'm just gonna hit him with the elbow. Like, you good, fam?
I'm dying. I'm dead.
This shit's wild, bro. To each his own, but fam, like you affecting everybody around you. That shit wild.
How has he never talked about taking a shit with anybody? He looked like, was he like 30 something?
I'm thinking of like I've never really like you don't really have like
I don't know. I'm fucking weird, dude. I'm fucking weird.
Hold on, I'll take that back. White dudes, right?
Hey.
Say I'm wrong, dog. White dudes are like real weird. See, that's not weird. White dudes are really like open with like nasty shit, right? I mean, think about it, like it's kind of known, right? Like, don't fall asleep around a bunch of white dudes. You're gonna wake up. You're gonna wake up with like dicks drawn on your face and like crazy shit, like wild shit, right? That's kind of known. Like, I remember like
you're not okay. You know what? You're right. Okay.
And it was just weird.
I mean,
to me,
not
right?
now,
like,
not in my life now, today, but yeah. In high like,
growing up, that's how it was. That's how it was. Especially like in college, like you wake up with like dicks on your face and just weird shit. Like weird. I was like, though, what is wrong with you? Yeah. And even like what I didn't understand was like how it was, and I'm progressive, bro. There's nothing wrong with homosexuality.
Oh, you mean actual physical dicks?
No, fuck no. That's fighting.
Oh, I was like, fuck that. That's like sexual assault. Drawn dicks. Okay.
What I'm saying, what I'm saying is like in the locker room, like for some reason, like they're straight, right? From my perspective, right?
I think we have the same take on this locker room thing. It made me uncomfortable.
Yeah. But for people that don't know, it's like white dudes like love to play like gay, like like they play gay like a lot.
I do that from time to time, and I don't know why. Yeah. It's like a cultural thing that like, it's like, hey man, I love you, and then like we make like a joke about how, like, it's not like a joke like, haha, isn't gay bad? It's like, wouldn't it be cool if we were gay? Like it's
like
it is weird. Yeah.
You know what though? Now that I'm thinking about this my so like
you and I have done that. Was it my fault that we did that? 100% was me then.
Hold on, did what? I'm not gonna agree to
No. I've been, I don't know, like I guess, I don't know, just something that could be construed as like homosexual behavior, I guess. Like
yeah, you did that.
I guarantee I fucking done that because I do that with all my friends. Like I just go like, yeah, man, you're good looking. I mean, you know, in a pinch, any port in a storm, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Like stuff like they'll be like, I don't got a problem with admitting a dude is handsome enough. They'll be like, I'll totally suck your dick, man. Like shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that where you just like, you're like, what, fam? Or like, so like we had, I think I told you this, but like we had a dude who like every fucking morning, dog, be like 5 a.m, dog. He'll just be on some like super gay shit, and so he'll be like, I'll walk in and be like, okay, they'll be having a conversation about it. I'm like, all right, Aaron, listen.
And this is a white guy. And then in what locker room? Like professional one or college?
Yeah, professional.
Okay.
College. Oh, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
But they'll be like, all right, bro, would you rather suck 1,000 gold dicks or gargle bull cum or something
Yeah,
like that, right?
this
And you're just
is
like,
a thing, and
what the fuck are
I
y'all
didn't
talking
realize
about?
that wasn't a thing.
No, that's not a thing. And so it might, and this is what just dawned on me. It might be
100% was a thing.
because like if you're the black community, I believe in general was extremely homophobic.
I would say
right?
so. In my experience, this is anecdotal. Yeah, I think it.
Yeah, no,
I've seen more
I
homophobia
think
come
it
from the
is.
black community.
I think it is. And it's rooted in Christianity, and it's rooted in
Toxic
the
masculinity,
church.
in my opinion, too.
But I mean, they're kind of interwoven in
Yeah, I'd say so.
from that book, and so in the black community, it's extremely frowned upon, and so it's like any gay jokes was like, come on, like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like it wasn't any. Like there's no room for like you don't play like that. Like
Sure.
and so me as a progressive, like I understood the banter, but I wasn't uncomfortable for the man for like, nah, they disrespect him. Nah, it was just like that shit is weird. Are y'all gay? I didn't understand it. Like
Like
I
yeah, like
didn't
I
get
don't
it.
want to offend you. Are you gay? Like do you
Yeah.
need like
Dog, there's just one time like they get out the shower, right?
Mhm.
And you see naked dudes all the time, and it's a locker room, so you know we're grown-ups.
yeah.
But they running around like with a towel slapping each other in the ass, like snapping.
Dude, white dudes do that all the time, and I fucking hate it. I hated
And
locker
but
rooms like
like
that.
they like running around, and I'm
Like
like
twisting them and snapping them and shit. Yeah.
I'm like, cuz are y'all flirting? Like what is this? I didn't understand.
It's not flirting. It's
the
something
action.
stupid they do, and I don't know why. And their dicks are out, and like yeah, and it always made me
Yeah.
uncomfortable, and I don't know
And they're
why. Like it
and one of my
wasn't,
guys-
it wasn't even from like I didn't even think about it from like a sexual orientation standpoint. I was just like, we're naked, and you're slapping me with your thingy, and I don't want that either of these things to be occurring. So like,
I don't understand. It's just like something culturally extremely foreign to me. Like I don't understand.
we should.
Yeah.
There are so many things that are probably culturally foreign to each other, like from that we don't even think about, right? Like I can't even think of them because I don't know them. But I think it'd be interesting.
Somebody said it's only flirting if the other guy is also towel foreplay.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, it never came across culturally when I was in there that anyone was flirting. I know a lot of those guys weren't gay. There was a couple that were, but like that wouldn't necessarily be doing that. But I guess this is interesting. Obviously, don't have to out anybody, but why aren't there any out gay NFL players really?
That is a good question. I think it's so football in general, the system is rooted in like that old slavery mentality
And
the
hyper
slave-
masculinity, yeah.
and hyper masculinity to the max. And so it's not I don't think it's not even anything conducive for that environment, right? So I'm not only that, it's not something that's attractive to a homosexual man. Like why, if I'm a homosexual man, why would I go systematically preyed upon? You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
And so I'm sure there's been gay men in the NFL. I'm sure that there's gay men in the NFL now.
Oh, you never been with an out teammate?
No.
Wow, that's actually interesting.
Yeah, no. You know what's crazy? Like the first like real I've never really been around gay people in like that I know, right? I've been around like, but because I am an asshole, I don't really view them as gay, right? So
Sure. Wait, who
and
are
I
we talking about?
Women that are bisexual.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or even are gay. Like if you like, you know, we were talking about this.
It doesn't have the same cultural implication as a guy that's gay.
We were talking about
What
this
you're
the other
saying?
day, actually.
Okay.
No, it doesn't. Like I don't like, and this could be my internal bias, right? Is I don't look at gay women like I look at gay men. It's not the same. It doesn't register the same to me.
Just from a
right?
cultural perspective, it's one is pretty taboo.
Yeah, it's super taboo. Not necessarily in my mind, right? Because it's like I don't have no issues with gay people. Like I'm an advocate. I'm an ally. Like, but I just don't understand that, right? I understand women liking women because that's something I'm into. But I also understand that's my
I can't empathize with people
bias.
liking dicks either. So it's something that I just like understand as a thing.
Right. And so
I
remember
get it.
I had a fan on my podcast once, right? So like every now and then on my podcast, I'll like people that are fans of the podcast, I'll just invite one on. We'll just have an hour conversation. And I'll put it out. And one of the dudes that came on, he was gay, and I realized it was really the first conversation I've ever had with a gay.
Yeah.
And it totally like changed my perspective of it. What it did was it allowed me to see through his worldview. And what I found was like fascinating. It was like things that I never even thought of before. Was when he's courting a man, he has to be careful because some people are homophobic or whatever the case may be, and he'll have to fight about it.
Yeah.
Right. He'll have to fight about his attraction. And I'm like that. And that shit just, it's something that has never gotten close to crossing my mind before. That me being attracted to a woman. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. No, I wanted you to finish your thought.
I was just saying, like me being attracted to, and that could possibly, and shit, women for that instance, right? Like an attraction or lack of an attraction can lead to a physical altercation. That is an extremely male privilege, right?
Oh yeah.
That I've never even thought about before. I was the fact that we even have separate bathrooms is because of the threat that women have for men. Like, right? Just the fact that we, like, I was like, why do we have? I've thought about the other day. I was like, what the fuck do we have separate bathrooms?
I mean, it's also like Victorian like modesty bullshit, but yeah.
I say I don't even know the historical context.
There was
it.
In Victorian times, thinking like the 1700s and shit. There was this sort of like really buttoned up like, you know, if flesh shows, it's immodest, and you know, we have to do certain etiquettes. That's why this period of time is kind of why you have. Instead of pig, it's pork. Instead of cow, it's beef. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah. So you have this classist structure mixed with racism, mixed with this sort of, I don't even know, social stratification even within those systems, and it was really, really bad for just pretty much everybody. But think powdered wigs and fucking you know, royal white people, and that kind of mentality carried over into the States, and you still see some relics of that shit. Like the closest we ever got back to that was like 50s America, and that sort of like the man is the breadwinner and the woman is the homemaker, and she should have 2 children and the nuclear family, that kind of bullshit. Which of course was only at white people, right? But yeah, that sort of shit. But
gotcha.
My girlfriend's bisexual, and she often there's a thing called bi erasure.
Am I bigoted for? Because I just stopped myself. Am I bigoted for be like, congratulations?
What do you mean?
Of me like being like, that's fucking dope. Of being dope. Like I like that, the fact that, and not that your girlfriend's brother, but just in general that a man like so like if my girl, because she's not right, or so she says. Like sometimes she says little comments, I don't know, but so like like if my girl was like bisexual, and I'm just like, yo, that's fucking that's dope. Like is that a
Is it because you're fetishizing it, or is it because it's
no, I'm fetishizing it. 100% I'm fetishizing.
Yeah, I mean it's not necessarily bigoted, but it's not cool, right? So like it's like there's an aspect to it that, I mean, like, you're sexually attracted to women, and the thought of her sharing that is obviously not like, it's not something that you can control, right? Like like it's to understand that, like, I don't think anyone's fetishes are necessarily bad, right? It's just to understand that you shouldn't it's hard to express.
Devalue somebody else's.
Yeah, and sort of like understand that, like, just because someone's bi, it doesn't mean they're gonna have a threesome with you or whatever. Understanding that, like, if someone's bi, they still might be monogamous, and they might not, they might not have a bunch of sexual partners. Like, it doesn't bisexuality or pansexuality. They're basically they're functionally very similar. The only difference is that usually bisexual people, if they self self-identify as bi and not pan is they usually stick to binary modes of attraction. If this makes sense. So usually, for instance,
that makes sense.
Sarah, who identifies as bisexual, not pan, is sexually attracted to masculine and feminine people, usually who identify as men and women. Pansexual people usually have a broader spectrum of attraction than you stick to a binary. That's not to say that bisexual people, like a bisexual person could be someone that is attracted to androgynous and masculine people,
Right.
and not feminine people. And so like it usually ends up in the binary anyway. But so yeah, as long as you understand like there's not this. Like if you gotta get rid of the stigmas behind it, but other than thinking like it's cool for your relationship, like just thinking someone's bisexual is going to be like a specific thing. Yeah, that's something that people fight with anyway. Like same thing though. Like if you have a fetish for like red hair, or some people have fetishes for Asian people. Some people have fetishes for black people. Like as long as you understand that there's a person behind there and you try not to fetishize their existence, and you just understand that like this is an attraction I can't necessarily control. It's not like finding and like there's nothing wrong with finding someone that's black inordinately attractive to you, right? Like more, you know what I mean? As long as you're not like dehumanizing them in that way and understanding.
And a random ass thing. When I was young, I'm talking about like 10. I thought that what it meant to be pretty was being an Asian woman. So like,
I'm actually surprised you didn't say white, because we we so strongly market towards that.
I don't even know why. I thought the characteristics of an Asian woman was what it meant to be pretty. And you know, I didn't have any like Asian. There was no reference in my life.
Sure.
I didn't even grow up around Asian people, but for some reason, like that was like this standard. I was like, yo, you're not pretty unless you're Asian. Like nobody was pretty to me except Asian women. It's the weirdest shit in the world, dog. I don't know where it came from. It's wild. But to your point, it's something that I think within this last year is when I really started to accept the worldview that gender and sexuality is like a spectrum.
Oh yeah. It can get hard to break out of that too when you grow up with it and you have certain expectations. Yeah. But just meeting and talking to people, especially listening to their experience of how they experience gender, because you and I think are pretty comfortable in both of our. I mean, I'm straight, cisgendered, which means I was assigned male at birth and I identify as such, and so it like tracks. And I'm heterosexual, so. Yeah, I just like these things are like the normal thing.
Yeah.
Air quotes. And so like these are the expected things. And so it's hard for me to empathize with like being not accepted. And so it took a while for me. I don't think I was ever like necessarily bigoted, but I definitely didn't understand trans people when I was like in high school, right?
No question. Yeah. No, it's not even just trans people, right? I think it's everything.
Yeah. To it definitely to some extent, yeah.
I'm talking about because like being a bisexual man or bisexual woman. So like if I am looking at my old, like if you're a bisexual woman, you just like to have threesomes, right? Like that's how I thought of it. And if you're a bisexual man, you're just gay. Like that's how I thought.
And that's common. That's common as fuck too. Like, and again, this is by erasure to a T. Like Sarah has explained it to me before, and we've just talked about it in general. Like it's just an attraction like anybody else, and she gets treated as gay when people like she got bullied in high school, largely by her black community. She grew up in Louisiana, and it still bothers her a lot that she got bullied as like you're gay, even though she's like, but I also like dudes. But when she's with me, people strip her of her bi identity and say like, you're not a member of the LGBT community, you're an ally. And it's like, no, that's not accurate. I mean, while obviously allyship happens within the community itself, being an ally is separate from being within the community itself. And she gets stripped of that and called straight. Or people say, yeah, but you're living straight, right? No, she's living bi and she's in a heterosexual relationship with me. Like, that's it's nuanced and it's easy to fuck that up, especially coming out of it.
This is why it's so crazy, bro. This is why life right now is so crazy. Is because, and I think about this constantly, is we're literally right now we're in a transition stage, socially and politically, to where, like, so I was thinking about this morning actually. Is like the reason why, I think the Me Too movement has happened and everything has happened. The voiceless, and this is so cliche, but it's like the voiceless voice, right?
Yeah.
And so everything that you're seeing is a direct consequence of that. So we came from this, like, how thing, like you said, Victorian, like this is how stuff is supposed to be. You're supposed to act like this. You're supposed to do this. There's a man, there's a woman, there's a this, there's that. And what we're finding out because there's the internet is that's not the case at all, right? That's not the natural progression of life and how it's evolved. And so everybody's finding their pocket, right? Everybody's finding their pocket. And all being a progressive, in my opinion, means is you're understanding and accepting of everybody else's pocket. And you're not trying to put a square peg in a round hole. And so the consequence of that is, to me, it's what's beautiful about progressivism, is that it's finding human decency in every single human being and trying to understand them on a deeper level. Like, imagine explaining to complete strangers how you feel sexually. That's an extremely personal thing, right?
Right.
But now there's terminologies for it and then there's support groups and there's people that feel like you and understand like you. So now you can congregate. And so that congregation, by far, the studies say that congregation helps longevity of life. So we should be ushering people into those congregations and not trying to dehumanize them or saying that they don't exist. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, no, 100%. And what's even in I guess another thing that's interesting about this is the fact that we're talking it in this way. It's very heteronormative, right? They're still not us because we're heterosexual, right? It's very like, well, this is that group and we're this group and we just want to coexist, right? When really we're all just sexual beings in some form. Even asexual people, that's their information in the sexual spectrum,
but that's
right?
what humans do, though. But that's what humans do.
I know,
humans categorize for whatever purpose. Like
it's an evolutionary trait that leads to bigotry at times, but it is beneficial in general. Yeah, and I think it's important to understand that, like, while we couch it in these terms, like, it is still something that we like. We're technically still othering them. It's in a constructive way, but like
I just had an aha moment. The end game. There's no category that cares.
Yeah. And this is like a lot of people talk about gender abolition in the same way, where gender is useful for language and for categorization, right? Like, it makes a lot of sense that we would have, like, say for instance, there's a police event or an event where the police need to be called, and it's a legitimate reason, of course, not based on our earlier conversations. And someone says, I was attacked by a man. That's useful information. As time moves forward, it's going to become less good information, right? Because it could be someone that doesn't identify as a man at all, and you're not looking for the same person, right? It's going to be someone like, oh, the person who attacked me was masculine, right? That's a very different thing to say, right? And so we're starting to get to this point where, like, when these terms become non-useful for communication and categorization, that's when the actual social structures, like, bend around until we can find new words or we just stop using that language. Like, and so it's really interesting, and we're doing the same thing with sexuality too.
Dog, I just had a fucking
another like moment.
A revelation.
Revelation?
No, have you seen The Good Dinosaur?
Oh, it's a revelation? No, I haven't.
You haven't seen The Good Dinosaur?
Watching too many kids movies?
That's all I watch, man.
Relevation.
Relevation is the cutest. Revelation. Good dinosaur. Please have this clip. Yeah, they got it.
All right.
Here, I'm gonna send it to you.
All right.
It's the cutest shit in the
I've
world.
never
dog.
seen this.
I mean, it's a cool movie, but this part was fucking
Hey,
hilarious.
be sure to get
dog.
that Disney Plus shit, okay? I'm not sponsored to say
Oh,
that, but you kids are gonna love that shit.
I'm definitely
Yeah, me too.
gonna get that.
I'm getting it from me. I don't. Okay.
Oh, fuck them. I ain't getting it for them.
Dude, The Mandalorian looks dope. Okay, I'll play this.
Oh,
And I wasn't scared anymore.
no,
You mean a
didn't even give it to me.
revelation?
And I wasn't scared anymore.
You mean a revelation?
That was right before or after.
Oh, he says relevation.
Yeah, so he goes. I had a revel. Oh, is this it? He said I had a revelation. He said, you mean a relevant?
No.
He said, you need a revelation. Fuck, I don't even know the regular word now.
He says you had a relevation. You mean a revelation? Yeah.
No, he said no, a revelation. Fucking dope as shit. But anywho, I had a revelation.
What was it?
It's like this utopian, like if. And it's I bet everybody feels like this, but I really feel like this. Is that there's gonna come this point, when society is like that. Society has this understanding of itself, and I'm gonna be dead, right? This is gonna be thousands.
Yeah.
But like society has this understanding of itself, and it's just like a good place to be, right? And it's depressing because right now to me it's not, and it's just this shit show. Everybody's just trying to like get their point across, but it's just like when you said somebody's describing somebody who attacked them or whatever, and like they're describing them in a way that is more than the cultural stereotypes that we've been marketed. It was a beautiful moment for me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that. Yeah, I think we could get there as a society. Not, I don't think you and me are gonna be there, but
no, I'm gonna be dead. Dog.
Yeah. But yeah, I think. Sorry, anti-SJWs. People don't want to live in that world, man. And then, like, I understand why people are fighting back, right? Like, I understand why you being told, hey, by the way, the thing you'd like is racist. I understand why that makes someone upset, right? Or I understand why, like, hey, when you say this, it's racist, right? Or it's sexist, or it's homophobic, right?
I don't get it. I don't understand.
Well, I understand the initial. I don't understand long term. I understand the initial, like, but that means that I did a bad thing, and I didn't mean to do the bad thing, and you're attacking me for a thing I didn't mean to do, and I am a good person, and you're kind of conflicting the reality they've built around themselves, right? And so there's this sort of it's the same phenomenon I see when people are wrong about something important to them, specifically the religion conversation, right? I love asking this question to religious people because it breaks down their conceptions. My favorite question to ask a religious person, specifically like a Christian person, is if the person you love most in life dies and goes to hell, is it still heaven when you get there? And they wrestle with that because
say it one more time.
If the person you love most in life dies and goes to hell, is it still heaven when you get there? Right? Because heaven's supposed to be perfect, right? And when you think about why heaven is good,
bomb dropper right there.
Why the afterlife is a thing? What do people always say? Well, I get to see my loved ones again. I get to be with them, and I get to, and they'll say some bullshit about like, and I get to see God's face every day or some shit. But really, what they're thinking is it's self-serving. It's like, I miss grandma. I miss my mom. I want to make sure my kids, I get to see them again. Like, I'm gonna miss them. Like, and I understand that sentiment. Like, our human connections are super important to us, and the thought of experiencing an afterlife and like not being able to see your kids again is fucking rough, right? Like that sounds rough.
Right.
Like some people don't even want to be away from them for a week, let alone like forever, right? Obviously, you and I understand we're not going to be experiencing that, but even knowing that, it's still rough, right? And So when you ask someone that and they wrestle with it, like I literally almost every time I ask someone that and they're super religious, they cry because they don't know how to fucking wrestle with that because they've never thought about it. And it's not like I want them to cry, but it's like this is a question that you need to be able to answer, and the answer is objectively no. It's a resounding no. And the people that say yes, the people that say yes are going to say, well, God is going to make me happy, right? Is that is a God that makes you happy in spite of the one thing that would make you the most unhappy? Is that actually like a good being, right?
Well, I mean, there's so many philosophical questions that they had to wrestle with that they cannot.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely. But I like that one specifically.
No, it's a great one. It's a great. I never even thought about.
Yeah,
that's a really great one. But there's just this thing that lies in this cognitive dissonance, and there's they can think two different things at the exact same time.
Absolutely, and that one
they can't
pushes them to the edge in my experience.
I'm gonna use that.
I'm sure there's better questions to ask, but my little tiny brain can't think of one. So, at least as far as like how simple the answer should be, right? Because it's heaven,
right.
It's objectively good. Hell, it's objectively bad. I objectively love the person I love most, right? In this scenario, like these are things that compete, and they don't make any sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, so to a lesser extent, that same process happens when you reveal to somebody this behavior is X. It's homophobic, it's transphobic, it's racist, it runs contrary to capitalism, or if they're capitalists, or you're spending you think something is patriotic or whatever, and your identity is sort of based around this. When you ask them questions or assert things, specifically I like to ask questions that make them answer. When that sort of like concept of their reality and their self breaks just a little bit, or starts to crack, people get very defensive. And so I understand the immediate reaction of this, like, he's my president, and they wear the MAGA hats and shit. But like 10 years from now, do you think those people are still going to feel the same? I kind of don't.
Yes.
Not all of them. I feel like there's definitely going to be a large population of them. Absolutely. But like there are people that used to have MAGA hats that like are voting are have been turned around. And I do this all the time, but like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Not all of them, but I think the majority of them will. I think
at
in
this
general,
point, I think the majority will, but I don't think the initial patch.
I agree. I'll give you that. But I think the majority of ideologies like that, like Trumpism is a thing, right?
Yeah,
so the majority of ideologies like that, those ideas have to die off.
Oh, yeah.
And they can't because there's no reason. It's not rooted. It can't be undone in any.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to literally just like die off. Like,
oh yeah, when the boomers start dying, it's going to be of natural causes, internet. Just when they sort of age out when they age out, like I told my mom, I was like, I'm sorry, but when you and your friends are gone, this world's going to be a better place. And
no question.
And like probably 30 years from now, when I'm your age and a 30-year-old's looking at me or whatever, and they're going to say the same damn thing, and that's a good thing, I think. Like, I feel like we should be, like, hopefully when I'm 60 years old, I'm the asshole, right? Like, I want to be the asshole because it means we're going in a better direction for humanity, you know what I mean? Hopefully I can keep up with you, right? But, like, today, who I am right now, I hope is the asshole. Like the vegan thing you were talking about earlier.
Okay, in that respect, but I think, but I don't think so. I think you're the kind of cat, because I am the kind of cat that is. Yeah, I mean you and me today, who we are today, is the asshole 30 years. Yeah, gotcha. Not like in 30. I feel like you and I, people like us, tend to adapt to that shit when we hear good arguments, right? Yes.
But like I think veganism is going to be probably that thing that we were just super wrong about. Like, in hearing us say, like, it wasn't compelling at the time, hopefully, is like, how the fuck wasn't that compelling? Like, literally, when you akin it to slavery, like, and these are the same arguments we made for slavery, I literally cannot argue against that. And I feel like I'm a pretty intelligent guy. Like, yeah, no, it's tough, right? Yeah. It's tough. So it's weird. It's like one of those things, because, like, one of my
friends who is like an internet dude. You heard of Cosmic Skeptic?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've had him on the podcast. We frequent every now and then. He's like really banging this vegan thing hard.
Mhm.
So I listen. Granted, I was giving these arguments when I went vegan in 2012, right? So I've heard all the arguments, but I just I just do it like all the rest of my pain in my life. I just kind of just shove it down, right, and just forget about it. But as he's like kind of going on this like his vegan crusade, I'm listening and I'm like, you know what, dog, I can't. I'm denying this. It's not a ideology that I can. I'm denying it. I'm an active participant in it, and so it's not. It's frustrating in that sense because now I'm a hypocrite, and we're all hypocrites to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But like now I'm an active hypocrite, and I'm okay with being a hypocrite because cheese is good.
Yeah, I know, isn't it? And it's like it's almost petty.
It's super petty.
Like, man, but like, have you had cheese? Like,
yeah,
literally,
I mean,
pick a cheese. I probably like it a lot. Like,
yeah, nah, it's wild. But yo, extremely off topic. Have you heard? You probably have. Have you heard of
who?
Vosh?
Oh yeah, I've talked to him before. Yeah.
All right, so what do you feel about Vosh?
He's a edgy boy. That's a good communicator. That's usually correct about a lot of stuff. He's, in my opinion, a little too sexual for me.
Right.
But yeah, no, I think he's a solid leftist voice. Again, a good. He's got a background in I believe philosophy. Yeah, he's a good dude.
So I've been following for a while. So like he had like probably like 1,000 YouTube subscribers when I first came across one of his videos.
Is that like what, 50K or something like that?
It's like 40.
Yeah.
But he's gonna grow, right? Because he I feel like I catch a lot of people early, but I don't know why, but I do.
Yeah, being in these spaces, you end up catching people like that. Yeah.
Right. And so like the more I listen to it, it's like, yo, this is solid.
Yeah.
Thinker. I don't know. Is it?
Yeah, he's pretty sound logically. There's not a lot of things he says that are super outrageous. I think his worst quality, and it's not like I don't share parts of this, is he definitely tries to be edgy, but I also think that's part of the best part of him based on the audience he's trying to reach, which are these sort of alt-right adjacent kids that are being swayed to correct politics but maintain their sort of like free speech warrior kind of I'm going to call it bullshit, because I do think that there are things that you can say that are very harmful to people, and I'm for harm reduction, but I think he speaks to that group. Politically speaking, it's like political theory and debates, and he's not wrong about a lot. The only thing I disagree with is like the edge, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. I figured. Yeah. 'Cause I was just wondering. Because I thought he was a really solid cat.
Yeah, he is. I've talked to him several times. We can't have him on Twitch. He is banned.
Yeah. What happened? Why is he banned on Twitch?
I forget now.
I don't want you getting all.
No, I think he said no. It wasn't like anything like super bad. I think he said something about like Israel that it was Israel. He went pretty hard in the paint, let's say, and maybe advocated for some things that Twitch is like maybe you shouldn't do.
Is he banned for life?
It's indefinite. So I'm assuming he can appeal, and they'll be like, well, let's see if you did some reform in the time, especially because he's a larger creator on the YouTube platform now.
Right.
I don't think he's walked back those statements at all. It was something violent that you cannot preach violence even if you find it politically justifiable, which yeah, so.
But violence against humans.
Yeah, the state of Israel. Yeah. Is what
got you.
Yeah.
Because I could like murder all the cows I want to.
Yep.
Fire. Cause I'm finna go fuck some cows up today. I tell you that.
Punch some moo cows.
No question, dog. No question. Well, my guy, I gotta go shake. I have children in there that are
Absolutely. We did our 3. We put our time in.
put our time in, man. Holla at you, boy.
All right. Well, we'll be back next Sunday around the same time for putting
Sunday service.
Putting another. Are we gonna? We should probably get some graphics and shit at some point.
Yeah, no, I mean, we let's collab this week when you're fucking busy, bro. You're the nicest guy, but shit with this here device, bro.
Yeah, I'm a very busy guy.
You are shitty on the phone. I
Yeah.
hate texting.
Yeah. Wait. Do you prefer to call?
Yeah, let's do calls because
You want to call me on the phone? What are you, 58 years old?
No, let's call you on.
Yeah, hit me up on whatever you want. I don't have notifications on my Discord though. That's just why, because it's too active. But if you text me like, look at your fucking Discord, I will do that.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. Because one thing I want to get straight is the shit where. Because I have another camera, and I have another camera stand, and everything. I just don't know what to do as far as would I need another capture card?
Oh, you mean you have another big ass camera?
Yeah.
Do you have a little webcam?
No.
If you just get a little webcam, that's perfect. That's more than enough. You don't need your super nice camera for the other one.
But I have it already laying around. It's not.
Yeah, but the setup required would be ridiculous. It was
okay. Just a webcam to put.
Do you just want me to send you a webcam and you just plug it in?
No,
Okay.
no, sir.
Because I will do that.
I got it. Okay. No. I appreciate it. So just we'll talk about it. So
yeah.
Cameras for next time, and then we'll get graphics and Sunday service and music. I'll make some music for us.
You're gonna make some music?
That's all I do all day, man. Music and play video games on Twitch and shit.
You're good at the music, so
thank you, brother.
It's annoying. It's actually I'm starting to get annoyed with myself because I really like it and I try not to talk about it.
That's a compliment, man.
Yeah.
I take them how I can get them.
All right.
Oh, a new Bible Reloaded song? No, that thing is.
That's
that thing is
old.
That thing is perfect, dog. That thing is. I remember. Matter of fact, I think I hit you up about that.
Yeah, you did.
Actually, I was like, yo, that song is fucking dope, dog.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And all the video cut up too of the dude with the Candyman can on.
Oh yeah, we did that.
All that
we
shit,
actually edited that part.
Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, all that shit is fire, bro. Yeah. I don't think you touch classics, man. I think you let them be.
All right. Well, you have a good day, man. Appreciate it again as always, and we'll do the thing next Sunday as well.
We'll do the thing. All right, brother. I appreciate you. Stream as always.
All right. Later, man.